Good morning. Good morning. What's up, everybody? What's going on? How's everybody doing? We jumping in this debate again, watching the second half of this because I didn't have time to go through 3 hours at a time watching the whole other thing. So we're watching this right now. So I've been seeing clips here and there, but you know, watching the second half right now. Pulling up. Hold on, if you're pulling up, comment. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Pulling up right now. Let's go.
Go to the hospital. They had immediately towed, cleaned, and back up for resale. That's absurd. That should be sitting in evidence. And any police officer that you speak to will say, or a person that's been involved in a crime will say, I didn't get my stuff back for years. That had nothing to do with anything. It was just around. And they kept it into evidence until the trial was over, and it has to be approved. I think somebody said by the attorney general has to sign off on giving you those objects back. And we were told this is all fine. And we see, this is just one example, Erica holding the crucifix. That should be in evidence, irrespective of if you feel bad for her and think she should have have it and it's sweet. That should be in evidence. Immediately paving over the crime scene. This is like the craziest thing ever. This defies common sense. You immediately, and when you heard the guy who did it actually go up on a podcast and explain, I got the call. They said it was a paver emergency. I've never in my entire career heard of a paver emergency. They had already had someone come up and dig up the dirt. So by the time he got there on Sunday, the dirt had already been dug up for him to lay down pavers. That is what people are looking at and going,
That's crazy.
This is weird. There needs to be answers for why this was done. And he tells us the call came from the feds and the governor's office. UVUs washed their hands of it. And what he's saying sounds true because we heard during the testimony, one person described the regions of who was in control of everything. Mm-hmm. The feds were in control of the courtyard. So in order for anybody to have paved anything, that was federal territory, so to speak. I'm maybe not using that in the best cop term, but the feds were in control of the courtyard. So these are things that I think should be answered for. Why are we doing things differently than you would in any other criminal scenario of keeping the evidence until we know more, until we're confident, the various decoys. I did it. It just doesn't look right.
Okay, so go back to the question. So what would you need to see for you to say?
Something, if they had, I was expecting, here we have him, he took the shot, here it is. And then I'd be like, great, a clear image of him. I'm like, that's definitively Tyler Robinson and he was on campus. We got nothing. We got literally nothing but hearsay of people saying.
But you basically get no case.
What?
You basically no case on planet Earth. You get the,
sure.
Oh, we got a picture.
Okay,
Here's him with the murder weapon.
Right.
Here's him taking the shot.
Most of this doesn't take place on a college campus that has surveillance everywhere.
Yeah.
One clear image of his.
But I don't understand when you're
his
asked,
car plates.
If you're asked the question, what would it take to convince? It'd be the same question be asked to me. Andrew, what would it take to convince you that the oppositional is true, right? That he's a patsy or something like that. Just good, clear, concise evidence that's been presented, right? And is being presented that I could go through and link all together to see if there's actually some clear picture of there being a patsy. That's what it would take from me.
Okay.
Just
I don't disagree with that. We haven't heard the defense
just
respond.
a good evidentiary standard. And then, of course, I would change my mind.
So just to qualify this, so there is a possibility in the next few months that you may come out and say, guys, it's done. Tyler killed him. Yeah. So you're saying yesterday.
Yeah.
I think it's very important for the audience here that from
without question.
For you, is there anything that you could see for you to say, yeah, this guy was a patsy?
Of course, I'm going to always follow evidence.
Perfect.
So my whole thing is just this. It's really important to me. I don't mind people being truth seekers and justice searchers, and the internet has helped solve tons of crimes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, right? However, there's also people who they not only don't solve crimes, but they just come up with conjecture, and what's called flooding the zone. You flood the zone with tons and tons of conspiracy-based ideas, and they go nowhere, right? And in fact, they actually take away from
He's right.
legitimate investigation.
He's right. I ain't gonna lie.
Now, I'm not even saying anybody here is purposely flooding the zone. That's not even the claim.
You did
All I'm
say that.
saying is
Wait, hold
that
on.
the claims
You did say that. You did say that about Candace Owens. I remember the interview. You did say that. You said that she's crazy and all types of shit. That's why you're on this debate. You said that.
absent.
Well, I don't know why Candace didn't call that out. But
this is just me not being convinced by the state's evidence. Those become claims, and claims have to be defended. Just like mine have to be defended, yours have to be defended. And that's what we're going to get to now, yeah?
You want to get into it?
Yeah.
Would you guys like to
Canadian?
take an ad break?
We'll take an ad
break.
And then we'll talk Erica Kirk.
A cigarette break for him.
And the conspiracies that have been conjectured by Candace Owens in regards to this case in the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Folks, we'll take a 3.5 minute break and we'll be back soon.
All right, you guys, you have probably seen all the buzz around red light therapy lately. But what's even more compelling are the stories from people who say it completely changed their lives.
A cigarette break for Andrew, but whatever. I'm glad they're able to do their sponsors and stuff like that. That's great and stuff like that. But he said something. I'm going to pull up the tweet. Let me pull up the tweet where he said that she was crazy. And she was insane, and she was a crazy conspiracy theorist. I'm going to pull it up and see where I can find this at. Because he's saying he didn't, and he's saying all this stuff, but he's lying. He's lying, bro. I don't know what's up with this. There's a bunch of tweets I'm looking at. There's a bunch of tweets I'm looking at here and a bunch of text that I'm seeing that I'm going to have to screenshot. Wow, this is a long sponsor, but I get it. I know why they had to do it. It's all good. Great. And I could have skipped all this. I could have really skipped it, but I was looking up something here. Hold on.
You take the lead. Go for it.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of questions for you, and I want to make it super painless, right? So no traps, no gotchas. I'm just going to ask them direct, and I think that as long as they're not loaded, if they're loaded, you should not respond yes or no, but as long as they're not loaded, if I just directly ask them, I'm hoping that you'll just give me a direct answer.
Now there's a perfect one. Sponsor after sponsors. All right, I hear you. But we don't listen to those. We do not listen to sponsors. Making sure it's not coming out on the TikTok. Let's get this shit. There we go.
So here's the questions that I have.
Wait, before we get into that, I would like to just reply to that. So just to be clear, we agreed to debate our claims, and then I agreed publicly that I have no issues having a conversation with you about other things that I've discussed that were outside of the court hearing and things like other evidence that's come across our lap and things that we've been speaking about. But I just do want to make it clear to viewers that for whatever reason you think that you have a right to sort of depose me.
I'm not deposing you. I just want to ask you some questions.
You literally said that I want to be able to question you.
Well, this is a meta conversation.
Right,
We're having a meta
okay, so now we're transcending. Like, let's use a
I mean,
word to use a word that you're
transcendent.
saying. But this is what you're doing, right?
Okay.
So this part to me feels like a bit of
am I allowed to ask the questions?
I've already said you can ask questions,
Then
but I
let me
made it
ask
very
them.
clear to you
Yeah.
via email and with you in conversation that we should be speaking. This
Yeah, I
isn't
know,
like
but
you
I
get to
wanna-
sit.
I wanna
I
ask
said
you
if you
some
want to
questions.
depose me, you should join
I'm not
Brigitte
deposing
Macron's
you.
defense team.
This
But
is
you're
part-
like, I'm
this
just
is
going
a
to ask questions.
legitimate
Can you
part-
answer it? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what you're going to ask. And
I
I'm
know.
going to
And
answer
if
as
you
I
have
see
issues
fit
with it,
because I'm not.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
I get it.
Just
If-
so we're clear. 'Cause-
Usually in the debate, if something's not loaded, I'm just direct with
because
the
you kept
question,
saying
with
I'm
the
Joe
answer.
Rogan. They have no evidence. They have no evidence. And now you're like, let's move away from the evidence.
You
Just talk about
actually,
transcendentals.
yeah, okay. Anyway, so direct question, super easy. Was Lance Twiggs DNA on the rifle, as far as you know?
We can't say that for certainty.
As far as you know.
I already answered that in the first part. We can't say that for certainty. I told you the context of which they spoke about those things.
So no, as far as you know.
We can't say that for certainty until we know what other the 5 sets of prints were
So
on
that
there.
would be no, as far as you know.
No, she just
We
said.
can't say that for certainty.
She
You
just
can say
said.
no, as far as I know, for certain.
No,
We can't say that for certainty. I actually,
You can say
just so
that
you
for
know,
certainty.
If your
No,
if
you
your
can't, 'cause
energy
the
here is
case
going
is
to be
still
like you're my dad
revolving,
and you
my
can tell
guy.
me how to speak or what I'm supposed to say, you're just going to come up against the wall. I'm
Okay,
familiar with
but-
this debate strategy.
but I
like,
am just
yes or no,
telling
yes or
you.
no, yes or no. We're not debating anymore. We're having a conversation. So I already addressed that in the first half of this about why.
No, we're still
there's-
definitely debating. This is still
No, it's not a debate.
This is
Now
inclined
this
to
is you
your-
saying I want to probe
Yeah.
things that sit outside of the evidence. I actually already
That you've
addressed this.
stated.
You asked me.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to go like you're
Okay.
sitting and I'm on trial. I'm not on trial.
Okay, great.
So
let's
you
talk
can
about
have a
the
conversation
let's
as
talk
we've
about the
agreed
French.
to.
Let's talk about the Foreign Legion.
Sure.
Was the Foreign Legion, do you believe, trying to kill you?
Yes, that's why I reported it to the correct officials in government. That's what I was told, and I handed over that information to Tulsi Gabbard's office.
What's your best piece of evidence for that?
Well, it was
Positive evidence.
It was told to me
Mhm.
by somebody who is high up in the French government. I passed off that information to Tulsi Gabbard's office. I also passed it off to Trump's office, Donald Trump's office. And that's all I can tell you. I wouldn't be able to probe any evidence because I don't have the power to do that. I'm not the federal government. And I would also like to say that this becomes this other piece of what you do, which is when people say, I was told this, and this is the evidence that I have, and I'm willing to have that conversation and write the email to the correct government body that deals with this. Like, I can't hack into Emmanuel Macron's bank accounts and say whether or not the information
I agree.
but then you go, well, where's your evidence? It's like, well, my evidence is that I reported it. I did the right thing that you're going to do. So if somebody calls and says, hey, Andrew, there's a viable death threat against you, and that person definitively has the rank to be able to tell you this, and you say, well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to report that to the feds. And then I go, what's your evidence? It's like, well, I got the information, and I gave the information that I got from who I got it to the right body of people. And that's what I did.
Right.
Got it. I just want
Cool.
to make sure.
And so
I'm not
it-
trying to trap you.
Well,
I just want to make sure I got a
You
clear.
can't
and that's why I
trap
say I want to
someone
know
who's
what
telling
you're
the
doing
truth,
now,
though.
because this has always been the thing. It's like, we actually can't win on the overwhelming claim. So we're just going to go and bring up everything that I think can try to embarrass her. I reported
I'm
exactly
not
as I
trying to
received
embarrass
it.
you. I just want to make sure that I get your
Yes,
positions
I
clear.
have not said, yeah, go ahead.
And now you have stated multiple times that you believe that Israel's involved in the death of Charlie Kirk.
Can you give
Yes,
me...
we can pull up the clip.
Can
I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
I finish the sentence?
Go ahead.
Can you give me the context for what are you talking about? Like, when I say, generally speaking, why people think that Israel's involved?
hmm
Okay. Where's your question?
Yeah. Do you have any positive evidence whatsoever that Israel killed Charlie Kirk?
Well, I couldn't say Israel was on the ground and shot and killed Charlie Kirk. I would say that there are various things that we're trying to establish, one being a motive. And since I don't believe that Tyler Robinson and his transferee is a convincing motive because he was fired up about politics, which Lance testified that he never spoke about with him, nor do I believe that he was so into LGBTQ issues. Since Lance testified they never spoke about LGBTQ issues, that he stopped and ate at Chick-fil-A, which if you are into LGBTQ issues wouldn't be your lunch before you go kill Charlie Kirk for LGBTQ issues, because
yeah, but do you have positive evidence?
I'm answering the question as I feel like I want to answer it. Like I said, you don't get to for an hour and a half pepper.
But the question I'm asking is about positive evidence.
I'm telling you that in any case, establishing a motive and and again, I already explained this at the top of the show, but the reason why people find Israel to be an interesting question is because truthfully, Charlie's perspectives were changing on Israel.
Sure.
And he was starting to realize how much pressure was being put on not just our government to constantly fight their wars, but also being put on his organization personally. If people had come out and been honest about that, rather than rabid claiming he never flinched and everybody's lying and this is not true, you would probably have people that just go, that's life. People change their opinions.
I understand.
And then there was the rabid, I mean, not even that. It's like everything was about trying to convince the public how much he liked it.
So then other than intuition, how you feel about things, do you have any evidence Israel was involved in killing Charlie Kirk?
I have already said, and if you're watching my show and the context of what I said, this is the general sense of why people think Israel's involved.
Right.
Nobody has made the claim that Israelis, there were also, obviously
Ian
Joe
Carroll
Kent
made the claim.
Well, Joe Kent, who I think would have the right to assert it, noted that there were 12 Israeli cell phones on the ground that day. I think most people would like to probe that. Now, it could be maybe they were students, and they were Israeli students in Utah that day. But we'd like to probe that narrative because what we've seen after coming from the Israeli government, the Israeli prime minister, kind of denying that he did it, which wasn't really necessary, was quite busy. The phone call that happened, which no one wants to discuss in the Hamptons the week prior, or not the week prior, I think it was around August 5th or 6th that took place. And again, the almost desperate lies about Charlie shifting opinion on Israel lead us to believe that there could be an Israeli angle in this. But we cannot say for certainty that Israel called the shots and this is how it happened. But it is definitively, I think, a thread that a lot of us would like to see.
There's no positive evidence.
Whatever you want to say, however positive, negative, however you want to say it.
Well, like positive evidence would be.
So, I'm just touch on this topic real quick before we get back into the interview here. So he's saying that is there any positive evidence that Israeli government was involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk? That is a claim and an opinion that Candace Owens made. She never said that she has evidence. She's investigating the situation. As the trial moves on and is continuing and all this stuff is happening and all this evidence is coming out, she made an opinion and a statement saying, why not investigate it? He wants positive evidence. Now, think about it like this, right? If you are a government or a faction of the government and you want to get rid of somebody, right? You're not going to make it easy for somebody to paper trail that and backtrack that to you, right? So you're going to use proxies. You're going to use outside sources. You're going to use hitmen that can't be traced. Watch movies, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, it's in the movies. So damn right it could happen in real life. So I would imagine that they're going to cut ties with anything that could be associated with them planning the assassination of Charlie Kirk. So that has to be investigated thoroughly. So no, she doesn't have evidence. She's told you she doesn't have evidence. She's making a statement and she's saying things need to be investigated. He keeps on, where's the positive evidence? Where's the positive evidence? There's not yet, but there might be in a year. Like, what's this guy's problem? This guy's weird, man. This guy's weird, bro. He's a little weird.
Material evidence and other evidences, which would
what
point
we've
you
said
to
is on our show is what we said, which is this feels like a conspiracy building. There's no reason to lie about these things, and yet people are lying. BB ain't acting right. The Hamptons thing was weird, and the way they tried to shove the Israel narrative down our throat immediately. I mean, the day he died, posting a picture of him with an American and Israeli AI'd photo on the president's feed Doesn't feel right.
Do you have any evidence that Erica Kirk or TPUSA participated in the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I've never said they participated in the murder of Charlie Kirk. So how could I say that I have evidence they participated in the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Okay. So then you don't believe that they did?
I never have said that statement. So I'm not going to get you to ask me personal questions about things that I've never said on record.
Okay, fair.
Your team is sending messages in the back saying they have a video they want to play.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know what the video is. Yes, you said that there's a video you want to play that Candace said she has full confidence Israel was involved.
Yep.
Yeah. He said evidence that they killed him. I said this is why people think their involvement.
So
if they have the clip, they can play the clip.
Yeah.
They're referring to a clip.
Yeah.
Via whom? My guess is Pierre. Erica. I think that there's a reason Pierre knew that Charlie was dead first. I think there's a reason he was a priority. How? Why? I think France and Israel are involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. And I'm going to put that out there with full confidence.
Okay.
I also
involvement.
I understand.
Yeah.
So you think you with full confidence you think that
I think
that
Israel's
France
involved.
and Israel.
Yeah, I mean, the person that gave me that thing that I reported said that French Foreign Legion were on the ground that day.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this would be at a professional limitation for me to then go and probe that information that I handed over. I can't do that. I'm not
But
the
you
United
don't have
States
any
government.
positive evidence of
Okay,
that.
okay.
Right?
Liz, I don't. Can you just stop? It's actually just like annoying to hear you
Yeah,
keep saying.
yeah. It is because she never denied it. She said that she has full confidence. The evidence has to be produced, my guy. Like if somebody doesn't have the evidence, they can still think that something's happening. So he's still asking for that. This has been going on for 5 minutes. He's still asking for the evidence. She said it. I stated as my opinion. I think that she never denied it. You know what I'm saying? Like she didn't deny it. She's stating she didn't deflect, and he's still saying, so you don't have any positive evidence. So you don't do it. She never said she had evidence. She said that it's her opinion, and she's making a statement, and she thinks that evidence has to be produced. You can't manifest evidence magically. This guy is weird, man. What's going on, man? I'm thinking logically. Candace is cooking them, bro.
Saying positive evidence. I've just asked me what I think, and I just tell you, yes, I think they are involved.
That's a claim.
No, I said here's what I think.
I have every right to ask you about your claim.
Yeah, but
and if there's positive evidence
in
for
this
your
statement,
claim.
I literally just said I think, and I am allowed to think. And
yeah,
you
you're
keep
allowed
saying,
to think,
do you have
but you're making a
evidence?
claim.
I have tons of positive evidence that I'm allowed to think.
I agree. You're allowed to think.
Okay. So
nobody's disputing whether or not Candace Owens is allowed to think. What I'm asking is if you have
what's your issue then? What is your issue with the statement?
evidence.
I think that Israel is involved.
That's not just what you said. You said
I
that
did say I think.
It's with full confidence.
Yes.
You would think that if you had full
Can you have confidence
confidence
to think when you think?
But if I said, for instance, I think I'm going to be late to work, right, with full confidence, I would say my evidence for that is that I'm 20 minutes away and I need to be there in 5.
Andrew,
that's how you would know whether or not you have full confidence.
Can I tell you something?
Hang on, let me finish.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead, finish.
If it was the case that I said I have full confidence I'm going to be late to work, I would say my evidence that I'm going to be is that work is 20 minutes away, right, and I have to be there in 5. So I have full confidence.
Not a good example.
That's why I would think that.
Not a good
example. So I'm
example.
asking if you think that Israel and France were involved in the
More
assassination
complicated
of Charlie Kirk,
by
and you
a
say
million
with full
percent.
confidence, I'm just asking for the evidence.
It's
or
a
at least
complicated
walk me
situation. You
through
should
the
know
mindset
that.
of why it is that you could think that with that.
As a
actually don't have to walk you
55-year-old
through why
man.
I think. I can give you something that I think with full confidence. I think with full confidence that you lost the substance of this debate, and now you're moving toward things that I have said that I think, which I can do. I'm
They're
allowed to
pertinent
think
to this debate.
No.
It's not exactly pertinent to this
It's
debate.
100% pertinent.
It's not pertinent because our debate
These are claims made about Charlie Kirk's assassination. That's the complete substance of the debate.
No, actually, would you like to remind him of what our debate claims actually were?
And would you like to remind you said I could ask you about any of these things to my heart's content?
Feel free, but you do not get to structure how I'm allowed to reply or ask me why are you allowed to
I'm not structuring how you're
think.
allowed to reply. I'm just asking you direct questions.
I have full confidence that you do not feel that you represented your claim well, And so now what you came
That's
prepared
nice.
to
I just
do is
wanna
to
know-
present yourself like a professor of
I
fallacies.
just want to know.
And to say, you are not allowed to say that. You can't. It's
You
my
can
podcast.
say whatever you want.
Well,
Nobody's
I said
disputing that.
It
I'm
It
asking.
seems like you are disputing
I'm
it.
asking
I think that
specifically
when
why
this
you
is all
think
said
that.
and done, I've already explained to you. I explained at the beginning of this
Mhm.
why I think Israel is ultimately going
France.
to be proven to have involvement in this.
Mhm.
I just explained to you in the middle, and now you're wanting me to structure the sentence or provide evidence. You don't have to. You're just allowed to think. And I've explained to you my thought process. I don't need to structure it in a sentence. If you feel like a professor today, you picked the wrong day.
Don't you think that like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people would want to know what Candace Owens' positive evidence for why it is
No, I
that
don't-
Israel and France were involved in the most traumatic public assassination of Gen Z's lifetime is?
That's why they watch my podcast.
So you're just going to drip to them? Like, here's why
It's
I
not
think
dripping.
that?
Every time we come across any of these discussions, they're watching this in context and they know why I'm saying it. So, for example, when you're bringing up, Candace, where's your evidence for France doing this? I just told you someone who was high ranking in the French government, right?
Who's nameless?
Of course.
Of course.
Of
Like, what
course.
is
Of course.
come on, man. Come on. My fault, guys.
Sell what you don't wear with
I
no
gotta.
fee.
Why? Tell me, why is she gonna reveal her sources in a investigation that is ongoing and happening at this very moment? Is FBI, CIA, all types of CIA, not just the American government CIA. I'm mad because I lost my place now. So we gotta look back because I hit the fucking wrong button because I meant to fucking pause it. I think I'm over here.
Department, wouldn't you want to, even you assign it to one of your guys?
There's no
to
guarantee
say,
they didn't look into it. How do we know? We don't.
I think we back over here. Because this part was
to
like,
Tulsi or Trump,
Tulsi's office, yes.
Tulsi's office, are you giving them?
But
And if there's
I said-
positive evidence
in
for
this
your
statement,
claim.
I literally
There
just
we
said,
go.
I think, and I am allowed to think.
My
And
fault
you
about
keep
that.
saying, do
Think,
you have
but you're making
positive
a
evidence?
claim.
I have tons of positive evidence that I'm allowed to think. Yes.
I agree. You're allowed to think.
Okay. So
Nobody's disputing whether or
yeah,
not
but
Candace
like
Owens is
you're-
allowed to
you're-
think. What
you're-
I'm asking is
but
you have
what's your issue then?
positive
What is your issue with the statement?
evidence.
I think
Uh-huh.
that Israel is involved.
That's
I
not
do.
what. That's not just what you said. You said
I did
that
say I
it's with
think.
it's with full.
we saw this.
You're allowed
Structuring
to
how you're
think.
allowed to reply. I'm just asking you direct questions.
I have full confidence that you do not feel that you represented your claim well. And so now what you came
That's
prepared
nice.
to
I just
do is
wanna
to
know-
present yourself like a professor of Candace,
You sound
you
very
can't say, "I
defensive
think."
and like you just don't want to answer
I,
questions.
I did answer your question 3
You
times. I just
literally-
didn't say it in the way that you wanted
You
me to
just
say
kind
it.
of obfuscate and you run away from it. But I would
Let's
like
see-
for you to
let's
actually
just go through
focus.
No,
every
she
clip that
didn't.
you guys have prepared because it's pretty. I think with full confidence, people will recognize the strategy that you're trying to employ. So let's get to the next clip you have prepared.
Sure, they can pull up whatever clips
whatever
they want.
it is
yeah.
that you guys have prepared. So let's
But
go.
there, but I would still. On this point, I just want to make sure that you have full confidence that France and Israel were involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk,
I think in
and
the
you
end,
have no evidence for it at all that you'll give us.
well, I already did tell you where it came from. Like I said, I can explain it to you. I can't understand
Did
it
that
for
same
you. So if
higher
you
up
need to,
tell you
if you
that
need
he was
to-
going to kill, or that France killed Charlie Kirk, or just that you were in danger?
They said that the French Foreign Legion was involved and on the ground that day. I've already said that. You
Okay.
just don't like hearing it.
No,
Candace, just out of curiosity,
Yes.
when you pass down that message to a Tulsi or Trump,
Tulsi's office, yes.
Tulsi's office, are you giving them who told you that, or you're just saying, "Here's what I heard from
And
somebody"?
I have this information.
Sure.
And of course, if they wanted to open a file on it, which I thought was quite mysterious, that Trump's office never got back to us. It was kind of weird about like from maybe they're not the correct office to. I did receive a response from Tulsi Gabbard's office, but I don't think there was ever any investigation into what I
Got it.
said.
So the call was, "Hey, I've been
Emailed.
told
It's-
the email."
yes.
Email was, "I've been told
I have
somebody is-"
information, that the French Foreign Legion was on the ground during Charlie's assassination, and that I mean, it was a lot of information, but
Well,
like
you didn't give specifics who it was from.
not in the first email because I figured they would like.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So if they do contact you,
100.
are you
yes,
comfortable giving 100% who it is?
I would absolutely give them as much information
can I
as
ask a
possible.
question? If whoever's the U.S. government, why are you not?
Yes, it's very strange to me.
You know, so if that's the case, now they may respond.
Right, and
back
that's
say, "We
that's
did,"
something. Hold
that's
on,
their
let me
position.
pause it real quick. That's something you can't really. I mean, logically thinking, that's something you can't say in public on a podcast on the internet like that. You have to keep that behind scenes because obviously there's situation rooms and war rooms that are dedicated to stopping what she's doing. So they're on it. They're gonna be on it. Oh, she made this claim. Oh, stop this. She has to. You have to move like a ninja. You know what I'm saying? You can't be revealing all your moves. Stupid.
That's
not
why I
involved.
did it in writing.
And so I'm glad that's the case
Yes.
because so if they
And
do
right
ask
away in
you,
Trump's office, his like Margot got right back to me. She said
This
it's on
is
his
even
desk,
too
so
much.
he has
A
that.
lot of
There's no-
and
information
if
for
you
somebody
do
for
say that,
especially
and you
for
contact that individual,
intelligence
obviously
agency
you don't have
that
to
is
leak your sources here.
Mhm.
Is there enough
unknown.
credibility where that person would be willing to talk to them and explain to them exactly what their sources
Yes,
are? Okay, I mean that's.
it seems reasonable. And so why he's asking me to defend that is like
I'm not. Never
Okay.
I
did.
think those are two different things. That's more
Two
something I'm
totally
asking
different
to say,
claims.
why are they not reaching out to you?
I've asked that many times on my podcast.
What do you think about that, Andrew?
What?
The fact that she emailed, she gave it,
Mhm.
and nobody reached out to want to contact the
They
source that she's
probably
willing
didn't think
to
it was
share.
actionable, is my guess. But even if they did think it was actionable, great. Every lead should be followed up on within the confines of what's rational and reasonable.
Is it fair
Mhm.
to say that this is maybe a different individual because this is a person that was involved with TPUSA
Well, we
and had a
don't-
relationship
Wait,
with Charlie?
who?
No, her relationship. Like
Yeah.
this isn't just anybody. So if an
Right.
average person sends it, yes.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't know who the source is. We don't know any
Well,
of
then
this.
if you were in that department, wouldn't you want to even you assign it to one of your
There's
guys
no
to
guarantee
say,
they didn't look into it. How do we know? We don't
How
know.
could they
No,
if
how
they didn't
could they
come
if
get
she didn't give it
the
to them?
information, more of the information because it
And
was a
by the way,
long file.
Yeah.
This is a separate. This has
Did
got
you send
nothing to
them
do
the
with the
guy's
debate. This
name?
is more on.
Well, I sent
No.
the email assuming that's you kept saying like you go and you make a report. You think they're going to come back to you and say, "Hey,
Huh.
what's more information? We're investigating this," and that didn't happen, and which is what I raised.
No,
I
I'm
found
asking,
that,
did you send them the
especially
source of
because
the
this was
claim?
at a time where they were
No,
saying
no.
that they wanted to explore every possible lead. With I even
She
texted
did
Dan
it.
Bongino.
She set
I
them
texted-
up.
So actually, it was three.
She
It was
set
three
the
offices.
nigga. She
Let me ask
set
you
them
one
up.
question, and
She set them up. It's called, putting the bait out. Like, here, I got somebody that did this. Boom. You want to see what they're doing. You want to see, are they even actively looking at the emails? Do they care enough? What's going on? So, no, she sent the email stating that this was happening. I get it. I see it. She said this. You're not going to say too much on the email because who knows if that email is going to get intercepted. We're dissecting this shit, bro. We on it, man.
Office,
Yeah.
Dan Bongino, and Tulsi Gabbard's office.
Okay, so a follow up to that is the following:
hmm
if they contact you to say, is that specifically to the French government or Israel's involvement in the killing of Charlie Kirk?
That wasn't about
Those
Israel.
are two separate things.
That wasn't about Israel. It was
Okay,
they were
got it.
saying the French foreign that person as a part of it was saying that it was the French Foreign Legion that was on the ground that
So
day.
I'm surprised they haven't called you.
Then I find that to be very strange too.
I do as well.
Because who would want to make a report? Like, I mean, I've never
But-
made a report with the federal
but when
Let me
he
government.
ask one
did-
question.
but
Let me
when he
just
did
ask one
send it-
question.
Mhm.
Let me just ask one
Okay.
question, and I'm going to bring it
Okay.
to you.
Sure.
The question is in regards to, I've not seen that clip, so I'm seeing it now.
Mhm.
I'm full confidence. I believe that
Mhm.
Israel and French was involved. Is that also based on a source that somebody told you that Israel was involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, or is that a gut feeling?
So, in terms of Israel, I mean, what I've said is what I publicly have said here. I do think that at the end of this, we are going to find that Israel was involved. I do. Now, in terms of any of the hard evidence that's been presented, I think this has been a huge problem that a lot of us have had is that
Mhm.
they won't even explore anything else that was going on in Charlie's life personally. So if we're not satisfied that Tyler Robinson did this in any way, then every alternative theory should be explored. Other evidence should be brought forward. We've done that in our in our capacity. Like when people keep saying she has no evidence, it's kind of crazy. I think we've broken like more stories than any news source in the world. I mean, down to pictures, details, police officers, what the dog's name was, because we're not the only people that believe there's a conspiracy here. The police officers that were involved, the many police, sheriff's offices, that were departments that were involved that day, all believe there was a conspiracy. Down to the U.S. Marshals believe there was a conspiracy. They were, my sources at the U.S. Marshals were saying they were basically sent on a wild goose chase that day.
But do you see how you say my sources?
You're not allowed to have sources.
Well,
like
the thing is funny.
So is CNN allowed to have sources?
Well, hang on. I have sources. If I said I have sources that claim none of that's true. In fact, my sources claim that her sources are lying. My sources claim that none of them believe that there's a conspiracy. My sources claim all of them really think that Tyler Robinson was a lone gunman. If I just said that as hypothetical, wouldn't you say, what?
Yeah, I think what probably adds weight is like then when I drop photos of the car that no one was supposed to see, people go, okay, her sources are legit. So, and then when what I say is then proven in court and nobody knew those things, people are recognizing that my sources are legit. When I say Charlie was scared in the last days, and then I dropped the text message, which you've just learned about a couple of weeks ago, of him saying he was leaving the pro-Israel cause when everyone was lying about that, then they say, I think Candace's sources are legit. So I think what's happened is I've actually built up a rapport with my audience that it's not vibes and dreams, and that's why they keep watching my content, because like, for example, when I just the other day released the content of the shooter on the roof doing the lateral crawl, then they're going, I don't think these are just vibes. It seems like Candace's sources are legit. So I've proven myself in the market.
Yeah, I'm not sure that would legitimize your sources as being legitimate when it comes to the idea that, they all believe that there's a conspiracy going on, which is actually what your claim is now. How would that actually, hang on, I'm almost done.
How would that, talking to PVD
how would that legitimize, well, it's not his debate. How would it legitimize these sources that even if it's the case that you get some court footage or some things like this, why would it legitimize that your sources are telling you all the marshals believe it's a conspiracy, all the police believe it's a conspiracy, everybody believes it? How would that legitimize any of that?
Well, what I am saying to you, and you are not forced to believe it. So let me just explain what I was answering here, and I think that you understood what I was saying. Is I have, because people trust me, compiled a lot of information and presented it to the public, and this information has been proven true. We've presented photos, we have presented videos, never before seen stuff. The public has never seen it. And so what that does is your audience goes, okay, when she says that she has these sources, clearly she's telling the truth. Now, whether you would then go, well, I'm going to believe her when she says they think that there's a conspiracy, that's up to you. You cannot watch my content. I'm not here to tell you that you have to watch my content or believe everything I'm saying.
Well, don't you think questioners should get questioned as well?
By who? I'm not committing a crime, am I? By just like saying what I think and collecting evidence.
Aren't most of the people you ask questions of not actually committing crimes?
But what do you mean they should answer questions where? Like at a police station? Like
no,
what are you
just
saying?
like if you want people to come in and answer questions for you. I have questions about this in the investigation. I have questions about this. I have questions about that. You want them to answer your questions. Doesn't it seem totally fair that you answer back the questions people have for you?
Well, they're not answering our questions. So it's also fair that they don't answer them.
So you're
that's why I said Andrew Colvett should be in this chair. He's not.
But isn't that a double standard?
No, it's not, because he's not doing it.
Yeah, but that would still be a double standard. If you're requesting that he does do it, then that seems to infer that you think he owes you answers.
Oh, so inferences are allowed again?
And they never weren't. So that seems to infer that you think that he owes you answers. If that's the case, then don't you owe answers?
Yeah, well, I feel like I'm answering your questions and his questions about, I'm talking about Andrew Colvett. His position is he's a spokesperson for Turning Point USA. So when the crowd turns against Turning Point USA on the basis of a lack of information or because there has been, I don't know, seeds sown of distrust, I would imagine, and forget answering my questions because it doesn't need to be me.
But aren't you sowing a lot of those seeds of distrust?
Well, I think they're doing a pretty good job themselves, if I'm being honest. You can blame it on Candace all you want.
Well,
people love to do that.
The thing is funny is
this is a good place to actually let's
act like I'm ground.
No, this is good. This is good. We'll be right back, taking a little bathroom break, and we're going to jump right back into the rest of this debate. Be right back.
your
zero.
PR. I'll be fair with you.
Ground zero of people not
think-
trusting Turning Point USA.
I think that there was some
actually kind of
PR there.
last.
I think there was some PR there. Sure, they could have done better. Absolutely. I'm not disputing any of that. One thing, though, that I want to just directly ask you is, do you actually believe that anybody in TPUSA or Erica Kirk or Erica actually participated, had foreknowledge of, or facilitated the murder of Charlie Kirk?
I'm not going to get myself into a legal pickle here. Everything I've said is on my podcast. I think firmly that if I was the investigating officers, I would seat them all and I would ask questions. I would at this phase. I would.
Okay,
so
what does
using
that
a hypothetical,
mean? Does that mean that you do think so?
I think it was not a sufficient investigation into what we know to be true of 80% of homicides. It's usually conducted by someone you know, right? And the fact that that was never even considered, that like I said earlier, the backpack was returned.
How do you know that was never considered?
Because they gave back the backpack as just one example. They gave back the backpack. They gave back the.
That doesn't show a conspiracy.
Well, I mean, it shows that the police trusted everybody and didn't just hold things up for a second.
They ruled them out as suspects.
That quickly. I'm not comfortable with that investigation. It's a pretty big organization. There's a $100 million incentive. This is
what $100 million incentive?
What I'm saying is his organization, it had grown to, I think it was 100
plus per year.
Yeah, per year. If that's something you want to factor.
Yeah, but
what
was
your team wants to play video, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
there's a video they want to play of Candace said it's impossible to not believe Erica's complicit. If you guys want to play that video.
Could also just ask.
And so right now, their guys are going out and they're going to look for evidence. And then by May, which is fortunately around the corner, then she'll see what they found. So what the F is that performance? How could you sit up there and say, yes, I 100% believe Tyler Robinson did it?
You just got hired as a Domino's beta tester. Just order some pizza and you'll get paid $5.
So this is it's getting more interesting as the time progresses, as we see. And I believe that, I'm not going to say Andrew Wilson doesn't have any points. He did. But he's getting cooked and he's not thinking logically on a lot of things. There's a few things that he is, though. So I'm not going to sit here in front.
That right there is why it is impossible for me to think that Erica Kirk is not complicit somehow. Because
those two thoughts actually don't even follow. How would it be the case that even if Erica Kirk did believe that Tyler Robinson was 100% responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk, let's just say she believed it with every fiber of her being, believed all the evidence, because she did. She just actually did. Would it then follow that somehow she's complicit in his death?
I didn't say complicit in death. You added those two words.
Okay, so what's she complicit in?
Yes, so sowing this narrative that Tyler Robinson is guilty. So you're chopping up clips. Like I said, you didn't have the confidence to come in debate.
Tell me,
so
what
now
does
you're
that mean?
chopping
What
it
does
up.
complicit mean?
We are showing a clip of her on Barry Weiss, which I can't remember the date that she did that interview. And Erica, when she is asked, do you feel with 100% certainty that Tyler Robinson did this? And she says, I do. Then, again, context matters. I sit down with Erica for 4 hours under the assumption that she had some evidence, right? This is why I did not engage in any Erica, everyone's questioning what she's wearing and all this stuff. I was like, I'm going to wait here because I don't know, just it feels weird to think that, did I think that some of her mannerisms were weird and stuff like that? Yeah, but that's not, you can't convict somebody on weird mannerisms. And then when I sat down with her and I was expecting for her to say, well, I'm obviously the victim on the case and we got to see the shot, taken or this or that, whatever it is. Great. That's why she has that much confidence 2 months ago. And when I sat down with her, it was nothing. It was nothing. Okay. So this is a conversation.
How would that make her complicit?
Complicit. And again, you said complicit in the death of Charlie Kirk.
Complicit in what? Yeah.
Well, if you let me finish my sentence, I could tell you that. But my point being is that then you take a look at this and you go, okay, well, this is weird. Why would you have this confidence? And then when you sit across from somebody and you say, okay, great, I want to go out there and defend you now. I want people to know that you can't say this stuff publicly, but you know more things. And she just blanks. And then she says, well, I'm going to call the lawyer. And she called the lawyer. Again, all of this is on my show. So out of context clips is not going to work because I know what I say on my show. Okay. So we call her lawyer, and her lawyer says to us, she calls him on the phone, pardon me. And it's me, her, and Justin Strife. And I'm like, okay, great. What do you guys have? He goes, well, we don't have anything yet. We're not at that phase yet. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you don't have anything? And he says, well, don't you know how it works? It's a probable cause hearing. So basically the state says that they're going to bring this forward. And now our people go out and they look for the evidence to assert that Tyler Robinson is guilty. And so I asked her directly, her lawyer directly, the phone's in between us. I'm like, wait, so just so I'm clear, you haven't seen anything that the public hasn't seen? And he says no. So I'm going back in my head and I'm going, okay, so why is Erica saying with such a degree of certainty, like she was sent out to convince the public, and people bit, by the way. I remember even Megyn Kelly was like, let's wait. She's going to have access to things. I did think she had access to things that we didn't have. Why express that confidence to the public as opposed to just being like, we don't know yet. I feel confident he's involved. They made an arrest.
I don't understand, how would any of this make her complicit and in what?
Well, I've already told you. She's complicit in trying to fool the public into thinking this is some open and shut case.
How is she trying to fool the public into this? If she believes
don't look anywhere else.
If she believes that Tyler Robinson killed Kirk, if she believes that, how would that be complicit in anything?
I do.
Are you saying that you think she doesn't believe it?
I don't believe that at that stage she sat down with Barry Weiss that's what she believes. No, but that's my opinion.
Right, but so when you just say complicit, you just mean she believes that Tyler Robinson killed Kirk? That's it?
That's what we were talking about. That's why I said if your strategy was to dice up clips and take it out of context and make it seem like I said she was complicit.
Everything.
Yeah, but then why not just play the full thing? Like why?
Because we don't have like infinite amounts of time. I'm guessing you probably don't want to watch.
I'm going to go back to my theory that you didn't feel confident that you could defend your claim that it was overwhelming evidence. So now you're trying to move towards doctored clips and getting me to respond to it.
There's no doctored anything. I'm just making sure that we got this right.
Yes,
that what you're actually saying is that Erica is just complicit in believing it.
When I re-examined her actions backward, because I did not have this perspective of her at the beginning, which is why it's so funny to me that you guys make it seem like I'm ground zero. People thought Erica was sus from day I forgive him. And I was not a part of that. I did not lean into that. I did not contribute to that. I was getting actually terrible messages from my fans being like, Candace, you and Charlie always say to go with your intuition. You won't address this, how we all feel about her. Things changed for me when I saw that Zoom call. I will tell you that. For sure. And the fact that she lied to me. So I sat across from her and, I wanted to have that conversation publicly, but they're probably grateful they didn't do it publicly. She told me some lies. And so the next thing that happens naturally when somebody lies to you, when any person lies to you, whether it's a toddler, people only lie when they're trying to obscure something else.
Have you addressed what that lie was?
Yeah, I've talked about, we have a list of lies that we've been told by Charlie. We can find that, I'm sure.
In the meeting with her?
Well, no, I didn't want her to cage up. I didn't want to do this, and because I didn't know what to expect. Like I didn't know if she was going to be like, I'm so overwhelmed with everything, and I don't know who to trust the organization, and I don't know what I'm doing. Like I didn't know. I didn't want to.
Just out of curiosity, before anything happened with Charlie, how close were you and Erica?
Not very close.
So there's not a relationship.
No, I would say it's totally normal. Like it's not like there was any issues at all. We were always nice to each other. It just is our life went to a different phase, right? So Charlie and I hitting the ground, running around, traveling 4 days a week. Now I get married. I find love of my life. I get married and I get pregnant. I haven't stopped being pregnant. And what you want out of life changes. You don't want to be running around for 4 days a week and traveling on a plane nonstop. You suddenly want to start building at home and live. I was desiring that suburban life.
Did you guys ever do the double dates? You, George, her, and Charlie. Was there ever double dates between the four of you?
I was, engaged to George quickly. We were planning our wedding. I was kind of in my bubble with George. George traveled with me and Charlie, but Erica and him were just starting to date at the beginning of 2019. George and I were planning our marriage. Mm-hmm. So George really got to know Charlie. I wouldn't say that I really got to know Erica. I was just rooting for them because I knew how much Charlie wanted to, find love. And so I was kind of his wing woman throughout that phase. And I was just happy. And never was under the impression, obviously, that they were going to get married when they were dating. So it wasn't like I was conscious. I really need to get to know this person. And so it was just kind of normal that by that time, because of where I was in my life, that I wasn't spending any time getting to know Erica per se.
So the complicit part about Erica to you, is that a gut feeling? You think
it transformed when she lied?
You can take the lead. I'm just asking questions.
Yes.
If you want to go for it.
I actually don't. I still don't understand what you think she's complicit in.
Yeah. So when I say Erica's complicit, that's my opinion. When you tweeted Erica's too retarded to kill her husband, would you like to explain how you developed your evidence, your positive evidence for the fact that Erica was retarded?
Yeah, sure. So I just think all women are retarded.
Oh, so you're allowed to just say stuff. Who knew? So and by the way, what dramatically transformed your opinion of Erica after going to the headquarters? Because you were pretty hostile about.
I wasn't hostile towards them.
You don't think calling somebody too retarded?
No, come on. That's like normal tongue-in-cheek stuff for me online.
Oh, you're being tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, usually when I call someone retarded, I'm being tongue-in-cheek. Yeah, like for instance, you got supporters. I mean, if you want to use the same exact argument, you would take a supporter like Owen Benjamin. He called you bad names and called your husband bad names. You're just like, well, that's no biggie.
I've never answered him on anything that he said. I'm saying that you now are her biggest defender. So do you still think
I'm not her biggest defender?
Do you still think she's too retarded?
No. I didn't know Erica Kirk. I'd never met her before.
Okay, but you had an issue with Turning Point being led by a bunch of fembots talking about the feminist angle.
Still do.
And then suddenly you go to the headquarters.
Still think it's a terrible idea.
You go into the headquarters. Now all of a sudden you've got text messages that you're sharing with them. You say that you and your wife are getting involved with management.
No. I'm not involved in any management at Turning Point.
Well, I'm pretty sure there is a clip of you where you say that your wife went to their recent conference and sat down. And then when you were on Joe Rogan.
No. Hang on. I'll explain what happened just so that you understand.
Yeah.
So I was invited there to do some debate training.
Why does he keep touching
That's
his ear?
literally what I was invited there to do on recommendation. So I went down and did some debate. That's the first time I ever met anybody at TPUSA.
Okay. And then you said you sat down with Erica.
Well, I didn't sit down to her. I talked to her in a hallway.
So you didn't sit down and speak with Erica?
No, I didn't have like some sit down long conversation. We talked in a hallway.
Okay. Is that when you gave her the hug?
Yeah, gave her the hug right there. My wife did too. We were both very sorry for what happened.
Okay, so at what point did you start receiving text messages from that you cited in your opening statement?
I just reached out to TPUSA and said, I'm prepping for a debate. Is there anything that's pertinent that I can use here?
Do you find it interesting that people have been asking for, basic answers to questions, and you're saying that you walked into their headquarters and reached out and they instantly...
It's amazing, isn't it? If you reach out in good faith and you're not demonizing them and saying that they're complicit in the murder of people's deaths, that perhaps they're actually willing to release things to you that are pertinent, other than thinking that, perhaps you're diabolical. Well, I don't know.
I feel like if I was going to release that information, I didn't demand that it be released to me. I actually never demanded that it be released. I just simply said that this is what was going on in the last 48 hours. Maybe to the media they could release it. They could release it to PBD. They decided to release it to a guy that called Erica too retarded in June.
So what?
Yeah, I just think it kind of shows that Turning Point is sending you as their horse.
Well, I don't know where
they don't have the courage to have the conversation. If they were just releasing something in good faith to answer questions.
Do you have any evidence of that claim?
It's not evidence that you're sharing your opinion that she's too retarded. I can't share my opinion that I think it's going to register as really obvious to the public that rather than presenting that throughout the course of everybody wanting to know what Charlie was going through his last days, they decided to give it to you to come to my house as some sort of a surprise. Well, do you think the public's not smart enough to see through that?
Do you think that if you
talking about terrible PR,
if you know that there's a huge debate that's coming up that's going to be probably one of the most viewed that year, and one of the debaters calls you and says, I'm taking this position, this is the position that I feel like there's the most evidence for, and Candace also agreed to answer many of my questions in regards to this. So if you got pertinent evidence here that I can use, I'd definitely like take a look. It was actually amazing to me. It really was actually amazing to me how if you approach people in good faith and just say, hey, I'd actually like to know what the facts and details are around this, they actually do talk to you. It's amazing.
Yeah, I just do not believe, A, that you that they are doing this in good faith. I don't believe that anything you have done has demonstrated that's in good faith. It demonstrates that you walked into Turning Point USA headquarters and came out a different man because you were critical of the organization. You were critical of Erica, and now you're sitting here going,
well,
Candace, I want to interrogate you for an hour and a half about everything you've ever said about Erica.
Critical of somebody that you hadn't met, and then you meet them, and you're less critical of them?
And the inverse has happened too. I was less critical about Erica, and now I'm more critical about her.
But I'm asking you, isn't it the case that there's people you've been critical of, and then you've met them, and you're less critical after you meet them?
Too retarded. I feel like if you think that she's dumb and you, let's just talk about your record. I mean, you're a person that has spent time in what most people would term to be the manosphere, talking about well, yeah.
I debate against
against feminists
and red pillars.
Okay.
And a lot of the actual. So I'm a Christian ethicist.
And then you go on to Joe Rogan, and you're like soft explaining away why Erica had to take over Charlie's company when they don't have a parent at home. So now you're a feminist icon. Like you just go into the headquarters and you just shift all of your perspectives.
That's a bizarre criticism. Like nobody's in the bigger girl boss position than you.
Yeah, I'm actually no.
You're in the biggest of the girl boss positions. Like you don't have to do this.
Look,
you just do this. You could definitely not do it at all and be fine, right? But you still do.
I would say that you are making a comparison that cannot be compared because Erica's husband was just assassinated in front of the world.
Which makes sense. Why should we take the organization over?
No, it makes sense why you would go home to your kids, just so you know.
Wait a second. That's bizarre.
Yeah, because they don't have a parent. They don't have a parent, and they've just suffered a trauma. You don't go into the office. You want to
protect your husband's legacy, right? And you're trying to find some new normal. The legacy
is his children, not the organization.
It's both.
No,
yes, it is both. It's totally rational and reasonable to believe that it would be both Turning Point USA. That is part of Charlie Kirk's legacy. He worked his whole life for it.
This is why people think she's sus.
And his children. Now, for you, though, to say that anybody's a girl boss, right? That's like the pot calling the kettle black.
That came out of your mouth.
No, that was you. You brought up girl boss.
Girl boss came out of your mouth.
Yeah, I'm telling you that you brought up this idea that I'm defending some feminist nonsense. I'm not. I'm pointing out that they're by the way,
she's not qualified to take over his company.
There's always objective outliers to each situation. In fact, it's the exception that proves the rule. And the interesting thing here is like, I'm still just as critical of feminism inside of TPUSA as I've always been. And I'm just as critical of any pro-Zionist position as I've ever been. None of that's ever changed. By the way, I would think it's the most rational, reasonable thing on planet Earth to do if you wanted to actually see an organization change, to try to work with leadership or reach out to leadership to try to do so. Doesn't that make the most amount of sense?
I would like to state for the record that I think Erica is underqualified to run the organization. Sure. And on the more emotional aspects, I agree with what seems to be a majority opinion, because I'm not going to say it's scientific, that any woman that would leave her kids and go right into the office after their husband was publicly assassinated does not have their priorities straight.
Okay, well, I understand that you can have those criticisms, but I'm not understanding still how that would make her complicit.
I don't have to keep answering the same question.
Okay,
so let's
feel like you got an answer to how it's complicit?
Your team is asking to play a clip, so if we want to play this clip to just finish this segment on the Erica Kirk topic, we can spend some time on that as well. Okay. So if you guys are ready in the back, we're ready.
And causing that 30-06 diameter, as would happen with a pet and explosives, as we've demonstrated to you in the past, it accidentally, because of how Charlie was crouched, went up and hit his neck. And that ruined everything. That ruined everything. It was problematic. It's the reason why Terrell then had to scramble to get the cameras down, because they were never supposed to see it. They could have said reasonably that a 30-06 got eaten by Charlie, much more reasonably, obviously, than saying that the chicken bones in his neck stopped it because he ate vegetables. They panicked. That's why Terrell's nervous on the phone with me. Again, this is my theory, and I am now very much sticking to it. Okay. They panicked. It's the reason Erica had to step out. That's why she would have gotten on the phone with Terrell so quickly, because I was going, why is Terrell saying, well, I didn't want Erica to relive. Oh, that's why I did it. He didn't have an answer. He was nervous. It was crazy. But he acknowledged it. He spoke to Erica immediately. Why did you speak to Erica immediately?
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point. Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
I think I might try and start a pop-up.
Oh, really, man? What do you think?
So I must agree on that. I could skip it right away. Cool.
Believe that
Move on.
there was a shape charge that killed Charlie?
Hey, can I ask you why you keep starting clips mid-sentence?
Probably to get to where the clip is.
No, it doesn't seem that way because you can always start a clip at the beginning of a sentence. Like you're just like it's completely out of context.
Wait,
But
I didn't
so
prepare the
in
clips, but
yeah, I think
I didn't,
like, you
but
were
it's
kinda
fine
ready.
to ask it to back
Like
it up.
I said, I don't need to say what's happening here because the internet will clock it. But in this episode, we are now going, and that's why I said we're now going to look at some alternative theories. I made it very clear that this was a theory that I didn't want to look at. This is, I believe, because I don't have every episode in my head, but I'm pretty sure this is an episode where we presented the evidence that was in the car, the photos of what was in the car, right? And so we are now inferring off of what we see in the car that this very much does look like that we see a bunch of shattered Rode microphone, which was an early theory that I was actually interested in, but couldn't really wrap my head around what was the shape charge explosive. As I say at the beginning of the episode, it was just not my expertise. And I was concerning myself with timelines and stories and statements that didn't make sense. Without question, Terrell Farnsworth is someone who made me think that we were missing a big part of the story. So I'm walking them through John Bray's theory. If we started to insert what we are actually observing with the evidence that we're taking a look at and what took place that day. So we're completely in the hypothetical right here. And you're now introducing this.
If that's the case, if you're just hypothetically exploring it, that's why I'm just asking directly.
Yes, but that's obvious when you watch this episode. So that's why it feels like I'm in the middle of an interview with CNN when they like pull up random clips and they're like, "What's this? What's this?" You watch the episode, you know what it is.
I'm just trying to make sure. Do you think that your alternative theory?
I think John Bray's theory should be explored. Yes.
Okay. Do you think that Charlie Kirk was killed with an explosive?
I think that is a possibility. Yes.
Okay.
And it should be explored. He's done a lot of work on it. John Bray has done good work, and I think that that's why that theory is now starting to gain steam since we released the second set of the photos of what was in the car. I think it's viable.
So this was the big thing I wanted to get into with you on the explosives too. What is it about that theory that's actually compelling to you? So I looked into the explosive mic theory multiple times, and the biggest thing that stood out to me is there's no explosion. there's literally no explosion. In fact, there's videos when the shot rings out that kills Charlie. At least it sounds like a shot to me. People are actually like looking up towards where the gun is being fired. They're looking away for where the sound is. Where's the actual explosion?
Well, for every person that you say looks away, there's going to be a person that was looking forward. We have former Marines that have gotten on and said, it looks to me like there's an explosion under his shirt, right? You obviously saw Rob O'Neill go on to, I'm forgetting which platform it was, where he said, it's the first thing I thought was it looked
Rob
like.
O'Neill is the man that killed Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, and I think he's qualified to say what he believes he saw. We should actually, since they're pulling clips, we should run that clip of Rob O'Neill and what he said and what he observed and his experience.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take that. And also there were people who immediately spoke to the media that day who said the same thing, that they thought that something happened under his shirt. That was actually, if you go back to like my first episode when I was just observing what I saw with my eyes, I was asking the serious question. I was seriously saying, why is it like somebody shot him from underneath? Why is his shirt moving first? That doesn't make sense to me. And
that's because of air dispersal from the bullet. So whenever a bullet is shot, a projectile shot, you can actually run this experiment yourself if you have a rifle. Take like an empty box of ammunition and put it on the table, and then fire it near the muzzle, and that box will actually blow off the table.
Okay, so question for you. Does that box go sideways off the table?
It can.
It can.
Yeah, it can. It depends on the dispersal.
3,000 pounds of energy or 2,000 pounds of energy coming at you. That's how much it carries.
Well, it's not 2,000 pounds of energy.
We can fact check that. How many pounds of energy is it? A 30-6 being shot 150 yards away. That's a great question for Grok. I'm going to say when we looked at it, it was between 1,500 and 2,000. I'm pretty sure pounds of energy coming at you, and you just go upward and to the side. I don't really buy that. I'm going to just say think that that's not
Yeah, right. But
possible. It doesn't go through on top of that. So there's another miracle. You didn't get blown backwards. It didn't
but
go
if
through.
air is,
But I also want to say that you're saying this
Yeah.
can happen, and Rob O'Neill is infinitely more qualified, I think, to speak on that.
why?
And well, because he's actually shot and killed people.
Why would that have anything to do with anything?
Well, because
Did he slow down all the videos of the people he shot to see if their clothes moved?
well, why are you able to assert your position as a fact?
Because I'm gonna tell you how projectiles work. He's not even gonna I guarantee you, this guy's not even gonna disagree with what I'm about to say. If it is the case that you have energy and you have mass, and the mass is moving in the air has to go somewhere. It doesn't have a choice.
I think you're totally BSing right now, man.
Not only am I
sorry.
not BSing, I'm telling you the truth. If a bullet is moving in air, air has to move out of way of bullet.
But maybe not at the bottom of a shirt here. I don't know. I disagree with that. I'd like to say, for the record, I've watched some of you do these sorts of things where you assert something with a lot of confidence, and
You can fact check it. Fact check if bullets displace air.
Not about whether it displaced air; it's where it dispersed the air. Underneath his shirt here.
It's not underneath the shirt.
A bullet's this big, and you're telling me it's going to hit his neck.
Candace,
and then
it's not underneath
beneath
the
his
shirt.
The
it
shirt
starts
cuffs.
up here, and the collar's moving, and then you see the wave here as he's moving backwards.
No.
Yeah.
That's not true.
It's not.
And we obviously can't show that clip. I disagree with you.
Okay, I understand you can't show it for TOS purposes.
Exactly.
That's fine.
I disagree with you. People can go watch and make up their own minds. We don't need to debate it. Whether or not that was the first thing I said was, why is his shirt moving first? That didn't make sense to me. It almost looks just like this. It goes across. His necklace breaks first before Charlie even reacts. If you watch it in slow, his necklace breaks first, which I thought was very odd. And then you see a puff here, and then the next thing you know, there's the entry wound on his neck. I would not confidently assert that I see smoke. I've never said it on my platform.
Do you think that an explosion generally has smoke?
I don't think that there's any quality version of video that would get us to be able to answer that question other than Terrell's 4K footage that he has from the front. So
there's a lot of, if you look at the Israeli pagers, it's assumed that it's a similar, if not the same type of explosive that was used inside the pagers that would have been used inside of this road mic. I
think that you should, since you love debating, you should debate someone like John Bray, who's worked on that theory for 11 months, and ask those sorts of questions of how a shaped charge would work. I presented the evidence of what was in the car, and I also, at that episode that you're clipping, said John Bray has done an unbelievable amount of work on this, and I think he has debated a ton of people, actually, regarding this topic. So that's the route that I would send you on. For the purposes of my show, I do believe, to answer your question, that it is a hypothetical. I mean, that it is a theory that should be thoroughly explored.
There's two clips your team wants to show. One of them is the Rob O'Neill clip, since we're on it. So if you guys are ready in the back before we go to ad break, if you want to pull it up, this is a good time to do so.
And good to see General Holt. A lot of things bothers me about this. Nothing in particular. And it's not like I'm out there saying big lie or conspiracy or someone did it. I'm just saying I've been in a lot of shootings. I've killed more than a handful of people, and this thing looked shady off the bat. I mean, I've killed people closer than I saw the camera, and I've never seen a shirt move like that. That looks like an explosion to me. Just the fact that no one started doing first aid to Charlie Kirk, they were more concerned about getting SIM cards out of cameras, removing cameras, and then getting him off the X somehow. There didn't seem a lot of concern for his life. It seemed like just clean it up. And then, I mean, I've been told they paved it over a couple days later. And then you get Erica Kirk behind all the razzle dazzle, and she's really quick to forgive the alleged shooter, which technically says that was him because I forgive him, but that you can't forgive Candace Owens for having an opinion or asking questions. And they mock people by saying, oh, I'm just asking questions. Yeah, I'm a SEAL Team 6 sniper. I'm asking a lot of questions. No one wants to answer them.
And you're able to ask.
He's actually said very little about the explosive there. So
I'm just saying he observed, he said he's shot people up close and he's never seen a shirt move like that. And it looked to him like an explosive. That's what he just said.
But when I play that video at full speed, I can't see a shirt moving. I can only see a shirt moving when we slow it way down. So if I'm in real time, I'm just assuming this, right? If I was in real time and I was in like a close quarters combat, you kill somebody situation, and I shot them, would you even see the shirt move?
Well, I just feel like 5 minutes ago you were arguing that it was because the bullet carried air. Now you're saying you don't see the shirt move at all.
Yeah, but that's, if you slow it down, the disbursement of air, that's where you're going to see it, right? It's going to be very quick. Very, 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 very fast.
Yeah,
and then
that's not what I saw. And clearly it's not what he saw, and he thinks that there could be an explosive. So I'm just saying to you,
When you,
people disagree with you. Your opinion's not a fact. That's all.
I
I
understand.
think that's a good place for us to, if we have another break, and then we can keep answering your questions.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, sounds good.
Perfect. We'll do a quick 3.5-minute ad break. We'll be back for the last segment.
Cool.
All right, thank you.
All right, you guys, I want to tell you about Ethos because life has a way of changing your priorities when you least expect it. One day you're focused on what's next for you, the next you're
mute that because we don't have to listen to her sponsors. But I agree with what she was saying about it being explosive, because when I analyzed the footage myself and I saw things didn't look right. And I understand in those situations things are not supposed to look right, and things happen and air molecules change trajectories and all this stuff that goes on, and you can't just be like, oh, that's not how it's supposed to look. Things are going to happen that's weird and stuff. So I get it, but to me it looked something different. I can't put my finger on it, and it is a gut feeling, an intuition. And I think this case has to be thoroughly analyzed till you can't dissect it anymore. That's all I could say with that, because this is so complicated and it's so complex, and there's so many levels to what's going on, and it's just, and they made it that way. They made it that way so it could be like this. Whoever is behind the shooting, I don't think it's Tyler Robinson. I think he was a patsy. And I made a song about it, actually. It's called AI Generated Microchips. You should go check it out. But we're not on that. We're on trying to see the facts about this situation. And the fact is, he was killed on camera. And the fact of the matter is, we don't know. They say it's Tyler Robinson, but do you think it was Tyler Robinson? The viewers watching me watch this debate, do you think? Let me know in the chat if you believe that it was Tyler, or do you think he was a patsy? And same, with the JFK case and that situation that happened with Oswald. And he actually claimed he was a patsy, so you can't even say that, oh no, this is real life. This was done before. This was done before. This happened, I would say, many times before, actually. And it's not just our government that's doing it. It's many other governments that's involved in this type of espionage. Facts.
Fantastic. So, Andrew, if you want to go with your last couple thoughts.
Yeah, so I just have two more clips to play.
Okay.
Right, and then we can do final thoughts. I'm guessing. I feel like we got where we were trying to go, or at least for the most part. So,
wait a minute.
I do want to play the Twigs clip.
Wait a minute.
That one is important.
Wait a
the
minute.
Twigs DNA clip.
Yeah,
and they're gonna pull it up.
Wait a minute. He has an earpiece. Why does he have an earpiece? Why does he have an earpiece? Why? Why does he have an earpiece in this? Can someone explain to me in the chat, why does he have an earpiece in this frame that I paused right here, that we're at right now? He has an earpiece right there. Yes or no? So he's getting fed answers? And he tried to do it on the side of the camera that you won't see. That's an earpiece, right? Why does he have an earpiece? And TikTok is not letting me view this. It's not letting me look at this. TikTok is not letting me they said is my thing is restricted because it contains unedited it contains content that is not original. But what content is original? Y'all a bunch of weirdos that play video games and stuff. Come on. You don't want me exposing the truth. That's what it is. You don't want me touching on these topics. So you shadow ban me. That's what you're doing. You're shadow banning me. Oh my God. Ooh, wow. Shadow bans. Cool. Why are you guys shadow banning me? Oh, TikTok. For what? Because I'm reviewing a podcast that's getting millions of views and give me a break, man. I'm breaking it down. And look, why does this guy Andrew Wilson have an earpiece, as we see in this frame that I paused? Why? Can someone explain that? As I get shadow banned on TikTok, most likely shadow banned on YouTube, because TikTok just sent me something saying that they're restricting my live because I'm showing unoriginal content. But tell me which live doesn't have unoriginal content. I mean, we all do. Everybody be streaming games. Isn't that unoriginal? Streaming a game, you're playing someone's game that someone else made, or you're watching a movie that someone else made. I mean, what do you want me to do? We're commentating. We're talking about this. But look at the screen. This guy has an earpiece right there in his ear. This is the actual interview, and I paused it right there, and he has an earpiece. That's cheating, right? But nobody cares, man. Nobody cares about that. But we'll move on. But I just want to show that he has an earpiece right there. Right there. Y'all can see it, right? I know there's people viewing on YouTube and Twitch and Kick. And I guess I've been shadow banned on TikTok because I can't, they don't want me they don't want me talking about this type of stuff, and whatever. I could talk about whatever I want because it's supposed to be a free country, but we'll see. But there's an earpiece in his ear. Why does he have an earpiece? I thought that was illegal. They made Candace not have her phone at all, and she agreed to that right at the beginning of the debate. But this debate is almost over. 2 hours and 33 minutes in. This interview, this debate is 3 hours and 11 minutes, and he has an earpiece for 85% of this debate. He has an earpiece on, and that's fine. So he's getting fed answers. We're not serious, right? We can't be serious here. We can't be. This is crazy.
Just to have you respond
well,
to it.
you don't have to play it because, like, if you're saying that when I initially watched it, I thought that Lance Twiggs' DNA, like, he was directly responding to that because the testimony was a bit confusing. They started by saying that they were going to like explaining how they got the samples, and they said Lance, Matt, and Lance, Matt, and Amber Robinson, how they got their DNA samples. And then they started speaking about the gun and said, multiple prints were found on them. And then they moved and they said Lance Twiggs's DNA was found on the screwdriver. When I went back and rewatched it, I realized, well, they haven't officially said that Lance or Amber are on the gun. So I think I've already conceded that we don't know that. So I think but if you want to play the clip,
this is directly you saying it is on the gun. Twiggs' DNA
I'm saying
is
that
on
I
the
feel
gun.
like I've already said to you, like I've made that concession. But just to be clear, whenever I make a mistake, I just correct it. So that's why when you were asking me 3 times, I've already said we don't know yet, and I've corrected that mistake. So if the purpose of you showing this is to demonstrate that Candace makes mistakes sometimes when she's taking in a lot of information and she's reading through legal documents and she's trying to remember 9-hour testimony.
It's just demonstrate something else. It is, in fact, the case. We're all going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm going to make mistakes.
And I've already
You're going to make mistakes on the case.
Yeah.
But in this case, you were very adamant that his DNA was on the gun itself.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that it's not ruled out. We know that there's 5+ prints. I've said this so many times. I had to rewatch the testimony again. It's like 9 hours a day. It got very scientific when they were speaking about this. And I think I wrongly extrapolated that they meant all 3 of them were on the prints when the only person they officially named was Matt Robinson. So we don't know yet if Lance Twiggs has his DNA on the prints, DNA on the gun officially just yet.
Okay.
I've already conceded that.
Sure.
So
that's fine. And then the last one is one with Erica Kirk.
Sure. This is like the Erica Kirk. All right, Erica. You could just sit down with me, Erica, but we could do it this way.
This goes back to a previous claim that you made.
Yeah,
sure. I'm bringing it up.
Straight to jail, straight to jail. For questioning, at least, Erica. I don't care who's mad. I really do not care who wants to be upset after this episode. Really, you will be wasting your breath. Spend $1 billion on influencers because this is all becoming increasingly inexplicable. You are asking me to be an idiot, actually, and I cannot do that for you. Someone once commented beneath this show that if the situations were reversed and there were this many verifiable lies.
So straight to jail?
Yeah, so that's the show intro, and straight to jail is a monopoly term.
Okay. So do not pass go.
Yeah.
Do not collect $200.
Yes, it's obviously tongue in cheek. And then we explain that actually I think that she should be brought in for questioning because of inconsistencies. So this is the exact episode when I started to think that she should be sat down and questioned. And I still believe that. I still hold the perspective that Erica should be sat down and she should be properly questioned.
Do you know that she hasn't been?
No, actually, that would be a great thing for the spokesperson of Turning Point USA to say that she's already.
Yeah, but why do they?
I mean, my guess would be she hasn't because they returned everything to her.
Yeah.
But
why do they owe you that though? Why
they don't owe me anything. That's my show you're watching. Just the clips that you're pulling are from my show. So if I want to say something on my show, I can say that. I didn't say they owe me something. I don't think that's ever unless you have
but
another
if you
clip.
say like you need to be sat down for questioning and you don't even know if they haven't been, that's strange, right?
Do you know if they have been?
No, I have no idea.
So you're just saying, what if they haven't been?
Yeah, if you're
just kind of filling the air.
If your entire thing is
junk,
no, it's not junk. If the query is why is it that Erica Kirk's not being sat down for questioning, but you have absolutely no knowledge whether or not she's been sat down for questioning or not, what that does is it creates an innuendo, it creates an inference, it creates out to the ethos that this should be happening because something's wrong here, when you actually don't have the knowledge that anything's wrong at all.
I just think that my opinion is that she should be sat down and questioned.
But you're not sure if she hasn't been.
Yeah, and you're not sure if she has been either. So, like I said, I feel like now you're just kind of filling the air with nonsense. Because Turning Point's like, we want
to my
make
knowledge,
sure that you go in there and you defend Erica. And I have to say, I don't think you've done an extraordinary job at that.
But I'm not here to defend Erica. The thing is, though, is like
that since 4 out of 5 of the clips that you had on the ready when we asked you guys ahead of time. I mean, I want to just assert how professionally we have dealt with this debate. As you can see, we have not planned any gotcha clips for Andrew. I expressed to him that what we were going to do was just to use people for fact checks, and because I might not remember something, or I do remember something and you're saying no, and that is what I think will register to people as very fair.
We
did not take out of context clips of Andrew
but
to try to
expressly said that I was going to bring claims.
We did not.
Right?
No, when you said you were going to bring claims that you would want me to speak to, you didn't say I intend intend on sitting you down with out of contexted clips to which we said to you before in an email. Any clips that you want to share with us, send it over. Let's assert a debate claim so that we can both be ready to respond to it. That's
not really what happened.
Well, what didn't happen?
The way that you're framing the exchange, that's not actually what happened. We were negotiating. It is true we negotiated out the claim itself, right? Which one's going to take which position. I wanted to make sure that I had at least an hour and a half on mine, and you got the time for yours to question me. We did. We got through your hour and a half on mine, roughly an hour and a half now on mine. That's basically how this went.
But in the beginning, I did not take an hour and a half to just pull out of context clips with Andrew. I actually debated the substance of what's going on in this trial and this hearing. And I do think that you fell short of that.
There's nothing hang on.
And
there's nothing here except holding you to account for your claims.
Yes or no. Well, we were supposed to be debating the case and whether or not there was overwhelming evidence.
These are your claims about the case.
No, you then admitted that now you're getting into another sphere and you want to talk about the transcendentals and things that I've said.
And we got through.
And like 4 out of 5 of your clips are about Erica Kirk. So the general perception
I don't think 4 out of 5 even
is
were.
your turning points horse.
Oh,
I
so
think quite a few of them were. Was there 3
just made
Ericas
it up?
or 4?
So you're just making stuff up?
Can we get a count of how many were about Erica? I feel like
it was 3.
3. Okay.
Yeah,
3.
3.
I said 4.
But those are extraordinary claims, which is why you're asked about them.
Well,
right?
Okay, but the point being is now you're veering into trying to get me to defend my opinions, and then you completely shirk responsibility when I point out yours. No, they're not claims. When you tweet claims. Erica is too retarded, you go, that's just whatever, and then you move on.
That's a claim, and I'm responsible for the claim.
Well, earlier when I brought it up, you said that it was tongue-in-cheek.
Yes, sure. That's me responding to your criticism of the claim. That's all I'm doing here.
I was interested and
I'm happy to get into also the Patsy stuff now if you would like to.
Well, your team has one more clip they want to play from 7 days ago.
Sorry.
They got one more clip.
We were getting into the Patsy stuff and you stopped it and I was explaining to you. Oh, they have one more clip. Okay, let's go.
They want to hit the minimum of 4 clips you were saying with Erica. So
100%.
This is absurd.
Look at the law.
Okay. And this is the one you're saying from 7 days ago. Okay. While they're looking for that, do you want to continue?
Yeah. I mean, can I ask a question? I know it's been, or like, can I ask a question? Or are we
not really? I'm just gonna.
Okay.
We're going to hold to the actual contract itself.
The contract does not say that you are allowed to just question me without me being able to respond to you.
I've never said you can't
or have
respond.
a conversation.
You've been able to respond to every question I've asked you. And by the way, the other thing is like
let's have it your way. I want it to look like we've done everything Andrew wanted to, so that people can fairly assess the situation. So you have it your way. I will not ask a question.
Totally fair with me.
So are you good with her asking a question or no?
He said no.
Waiting for the clip.
Okay. So you want to wait for the clip first. Okay. You guys have it in the back? Okay, beautiful.
You need the Jeopardy
your team
thing.
told me they had it, so
that's what I heard. Okay, there we go.
Come on, guys.
Did this crime. Okay? Because Lance Twiggs has his DNA on the towel.
It's fine.
Lance Twiggs has his DNA on the rifle. And to be clear, Lance Twiggs' DNA was not as degraded as Tyler Robinson's DNA was on Tyler's rifle. It's Tyler's rifle.
Oh, you also
Lance's
said, it's not as degraded on the rifle.
Yeah, because I thought he was one of the things. But I've already, that's what I mean when I say that. Like, it just seems like you're not actually here trying to engage, because even before you got to this, and I knew that you had some secret clip planned, I said to you, when I rewatched the testimony, I realized that they didn't explicitly say Lance Twiggs. They said 5 other profiles were on it, and that his was the most degraded. So I hope your team feels fulfilled in playing that. Is there any more? I'm happy to play every clip that he has on the ready. Anybody?
You said you had some new evidence at the beginning of the.
Oh yeah, we should show that text message that you read, just because I think that's important for the public. You shared it out of context.
I'll do it on my show. I'll share the text.
So you're going to read it on my show, but not show it.
Correct.
Okay.
So I'll show it on my show, but that's what I'll do. I'll show it on my.
Can
show.
I ask why?
Well, because I want to drip out the evidence. You know, got to drip out that evidence, keep people coming back for the show, right?
I don't know if snark serves you so well.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, I'll release it there. Yeah, that's my intention. But yeah, I'm fine with closings if you want to do closings.
Well, I also would just, if I
Of course
may ask a
he wants to
question,
close
is
it.
that permitted?
Go ahead.
Just so I also have clarity, since your basis has been evidentiary, you keep saying that you have evidence or like you are following evidence. Which one of the charges against, or all of them, do you think Tyler Robinson is guilty of?
The specific charge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think is that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, but of the 7 charges that he's being charged.
Yeah. Can we list them real quick? I'll tell you exactly which ones. We'll pull them up.
Well, do you know any of the charges he's
Can't
up
even
for right
review shit
Yeah, of
here
course,
because
but I
people
wanna
be
make
thinking
sure
of
that we
have
this.
them
How is this
listed.
hate
now?
speech?
But like can you name one? Because my general perspective is that you don't actually care about this case. You're not following
Is that
the
it?
case.
That's the
Yeah.
question. You're
Yeah,
just
but-
not
but, I mean,
following
it seems,
enough.
It seems pretty like if you're going to engage and you're going to say the evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson is guilty. I just think that you should.
All
Like,
right.
Can you tell me one?
Then let's do the
charge
counter.
That he's,
You can really, yeah, no, this is a great gotcha.
No. You just got to ask me, play
Yeah.
clips out of context,
Yeah,
put me
yeah.
in the hot seat. So please just answer the
This
question.
is fair.
Can
Name
you
all
name-
7 since
can-
you've been following the case.
Okay, sure. You
Go
name
ahead.
you name one.
Yeah, you named all 7.
I'm happy to do that, but can you name one?
I think he's been charged with murder.
That's actually incorrect.
Okay, great. Now name all 7.
He doesn't even. This is like.
Name all 7.
And I.
Can
I
you
think
name all 7?
I can.
Then do it.
Sure, you don't have to
Do
put
it. No, do it. I'll count them. Go ahead.
you don't have
name
to put
'em.
your fingers up. I can
Okay,
do
hang on.
that.
Name them.
Yeah, sure.
Name them.
The first charge is aggravated murder because that's what carries
Okay.
a death sentence in the
murder.
state of Utah. No,
Next.
that's not. That is literally not murder.
Okay.
And
Next.
so just for people, no, don't. I don't have to do it in a time limit. There's nothing going on. And just to explain to people the difference of why that really matters and shows that he doesn't actually care about this at all is because aggravated murder, it's narrowly defined,
Just
and because
avoiding
it
the
carries
question.
a death sentence. I'm going to answer the
Wow.
question.
Okay.
You're
I'm
just going to
waiting.
recognize that your strategy of thinking that people are
She
intimidated
cooked
when you
them.
try to
She's
put a time
cooking them.
constraint doesn't work, and you'll be better the next time you debate
I got
someone.
it. I got it. Give me the other ones.
yeah. The more you cut me off, the longer I'll take. Do you want to just wait for me to finish of why that's a big difference so that
No,
people
I just
don't walk
want
away?
you to list the charges.
Yeah, I'm
That's
going to
what
do
she's
that. You
doing.
just don't get to pretend that there's a time constraint for me to do that.
Well, how long does it take you to list 7 charges?
I'm speaking. You just got to.
It sounds like you're just delaying it because you don't know them.
I know all 7 of them,
Then
and I'm
tell
going to
me
say
them.
again because you're going to get embarrassed. You don't have to rush this. I'm also showing an example of a very flawed debate strategy. I
Okay,
actually
well,
am
I
under
got
no
one.
time constraint.
I got one.
Great. The second charge is the felony discharge of a weapon. The next 2 charges are for obstruction of justice.
Okay.
The next 2 charges are for witness tampering. And the
And what's
final
the specific charges, though?
that is them. Obstruction of justice,
Both of
obstruction
those-
of justice, witness tampering.
Okay, and there's no other specifics to them.
Well, I can tell you why.
I've
he's
seen
being
this
charged.
clip
just
before.
the charges, and then 7.
Yeah, see, the bad thing is when you try to be an a-hole and it doesn't work.
What's the 7th?
The last charge is violence in front of a minor.
Okay, got it. So then he's being charged with murder. You just say aggravated murder. That's the
No.
distinction. You just want to
It's a massive. It's
Got
like
it.
you cannot
Massive.
say murder versus aggravated
massive
murder.
distinction.
This gets to the entire crux of why him being up for the death sentence. And I actually find the defense's filing about why this is not aggravated to be very compelling of why it's not aggravated murder. I actually think that if the state was going to even try to pull this off, they should have charged him with just murder. And then I do also, again, want to stress to audiences that debate strategy of thinking that you have to speak faster or somebody puts your hand up and they try to pretend like it's some sport. I think he thinks it's a blood sport. It's not. It's about being right and being principled when you're engaging. And you can make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, but at least be genuine in pretending that you care about this case enough to know one of the 7 charges that are up against Tyler Robinson when you say the evidence is overwhelming that he's guilty.
Right.
If you would like to move to final statements, I'm fine. I want to make sure Andrew has had the time that he has requested.
I think your team would like to pull up the 7 charges that he just asked you about. If
Sure.
you guys want to pull that up just to confirm the 7 you went through. Can you guys zoom in a little bit for
Aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, which is counts 3 and 4, 5 and 6, tampering with a witness, and
Nope,
count 7,
violent
I said offense in the presence of
in
a
front of
minor.
a child?
Yeah.
That's
So
what I
said.
5,
Yeah,
6,
that's all
tampering
7.
witness, 3rd degree felony. Now I did notice something I just was curious about. if I'm just wondering, when you pulled out your phone just before you asked that question, did somebody by chance text you that question?
You can check my phone.
That's
just
funny.
curious.
No, you can.
That's just
absolutely not.
funny
I have
because
not had one communication
Okay.
with the
he has an earpiece. So that's funny. He would say something about a phone when he has an earpiece throughout the whole debate. She pulled out her phone. I believe that it was just a quick thing, but so what? It was basically like she's got to explain it because I did see this clip. He has the earpiece on throughout the whole interview, throughout the whole debate. He has the earpiece in his ear. That should be disqualification right there. So that's weird to
single
me.
person, not even my producers who are in there this whole time we were here. You want to check my phone? I'm happy to do it because you're just going to get double embarrassed. Where's my phone?
You
should
want to
do
see it?
I'm
You
just
can.
curious. Yeah.
You can literally do that. Here you go. PBD,
Look, give me.
you're the moderator.
Okay.
Take it.
Let's see
See
it.
if anyone was texted at all during this debate
All right.
about the violent charges or anything.
I'm looking through this. You give me permission.
You
so I'm
have
looking
full
at, I'm not gonna
permission to
give
go through my
names.
phone. I don't need to
So
cheat.
the last one has nothing to do with it. It's just a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even read my text messages.
That's
so
a compliment.
he's reading them.
You're okay. You'll give me permission. I'm
Yes.
just going to read 3 of them
Yes.
to 1132 because after that, I don't need to read it.
And you know their texts. Could have been Telegram. Could have been something.
All
like
I
that.
have is Signal. You can check that too. I only have Signal. Telegram I used in Russia,
Okay.
And that was a download for
I'll
Russia.
take your word for it.
Yeah.
Then-
I don't need to like. I
Okay.
deeply care about this case. I don't need to
I
pretend
get
to
it.
know
If you
stuff that
deeply
I
care
don't
about
know.
the case, I
Yeah.
just, I have my other question is about the steakhouse receipt.
You just said that you were done asking all your
Nothing, just
questions.
so you know,
Yeah.
nothing there.
There. I don't
Yeah. Do you
need to
have
do
the
that.
steakhouse receipt? Is my question.
I have said several times that I have never said I have the receipt for the steakhouse. I have said the person who's working on that story is going to be forthcoming with the receipt, and that was what I was responding to. And he then dropped the receipt. He redacted elements of it, and I said, "Stay tuned. He's the one working on that story."
Okay, so you you haven't actually confirmed that Robinson was at that steakhouse.
All I did, as I said earlier in this conversation, was I spoke to the owner when I broke that story. I think it was back in January. I spoke to the owner, understood what had happened, and that there was a receipt. That's it. That's the extent of what I shared is what happened.
Okay, so to be clear, there's no receipt. You
No,
don't,
I just said the opposite. I said there is
well,
a
you
receipt.
don't have a copy of the receipt.
The receipt was published online.
Yeah, right, with blurred
The
out.
person working on this story
Yeah.
that blurred that out
Mhm.
is what I was referring to when I said stay tuned and keep following his stuff because he went to go do what I hadn't done, which was he interviewed the actual server.
So there's no evidence that Tyler was at that steakhouse.
I would say the receipt with his debit card number, it would be some hard evidence if that
I
is-
agree with that,
Yeah,
but-
so that's it. But you're questioning me.
But is there, as of right now,
He paid. If you're asking me, did he pay with a credit or debit card? The answer is yes.
No. Is there proof that that was actually his debit card that he paid with?
I think you should follow the person that is behind that story.
Well,
Is
the
more
reason I'm
something about
asking
that.
you is because you always include it in your timeline that he traveled to the steakhouse.
Yeah, we've been building a timeline with things that we
Mhm.
feel are
But is there any actual
Utah 1102
evidence?
approved. I think speaking
Yeah.
to the owner, knowing that there's a receipt, seeing the
Mhm.
receipt is good enough to put on
But-
our timeline.
But the receipt itself, the question I always had about it is, couldn't you just call the merchant? Like, if I've ever had a merchant account, I just
Mhm.
call the merchant
Well-
account processor and say, "What's the name on this?"
Yeah, I would stay tuned. I feel that having spoken to the owner, that the evidence is compelling enough to put onto my personal timeline of
Mhm.
what took place on that day. That's where it's going to stay. And if it gets debunked, I'm happy to take it off. If
Mhm.
that's what you mean, that's how an investigation works. Like I said, I did more than enough. It would definitely pass the test by the Utah 1102 rule, for sure, for certain.
To be submitted as hearsay.
Yeah, beyond that, because they
Yeah,
didn't even
but-
have receipts. They were like, Bob told
But
me
the
this.
question is, the receipt itself, it has not been verified to have been Tyler
Yeah, I just want to
Robinson's,
say you're
right?
holding me to a higher standard than you are.
I'm not even holding it.
in
I'm
the
just
prosecution.
asking specifically.
Yeah, I've been very forthcoming. I've told exactly
Mhm.
what happened. I spoke to the owner. I got the tip, and
So
I
should that be
chased
added
it down.
in an official timeline that
It's
you
in
give?
my timeline. It's my show, and we can add and subtract what we want, and we do. If
You
we
can
get
do
something
what you
wrong,
want, sure. But
Cool, I
I'm
just wanted to
asking,
make sure.
should you include a thing that you know hasn't actually been verified to be Tyler Robinson's?
yes, you should. If we're trying to build a timeline, you should.
You don't think that falls
And then
under?
you should remove it if someone somehow debunks it. But I think that there is very strong evidence that that is where he was, and that
What's the
is,
strong evidence? Just the two people who said that they saw him?
you know, I'm actually all good with being. I feel like
Okay.
I've sufficiently answered your question about how I got
All
the
right,
information, what happens
agree.
next, would the next stage of this investigation being somebody accessing knowing what his debit card was and confirming it? Yes, and I do believe that that will happen. If it does not happen and it gets debunked, I'll remove it from my personal timeline that I share on my show.
That officer, the first officer that was up on the roof,
Mhm.
do you remember his name?
Officer Bagley.
Yeah, what was his first name?
Christopher.
Christopher. When Christopher got up on the roof, you talk a lot about how his camera died.
Well, he talked a lot about that during
Yeah,
the
about his
preliminary
camera
hearing.
died.
Yeah.
Do you think that he planted that screwdriver up there?
No.
No. Who do you think planted it?
If we're just going on am I allowed to have an opinion?
Of course.
At this stage, I would say that I don't buy his assertion on the stand that he didn't check to see if anybody went onto the rooftop before he got up there. I do think that it's possible, it's at least plausible that the screwdriver was planted. I don't believe him. What I can say strongly is that his died at just the right time. His body cam died at the right time. I think that, as you were just grilling about whether or not I had got the merchant receipt for a debit card, that kind of makes it difficult that we have to sort of trust that a screwdriver was found and we don't have any evidence of a police body cam. But like I said, you accept that stuff and then are like, did you call the merchant and get, like, it just seems like you
Well, I'm not adding.
hold,
I'm
like
not
I said,
adding
you
this
hold the
to
prosecution to
Well,
the
wait a
state to
second.
a higher standard than you do to
adding
people.
unconfirmed evidence to an official timeline that I'm putting out either.
What do you mean an official timeline? This is my
Well, this is
timeline. I made it at home.
So then it would be official to your show?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, great. So then your official timeline, Candace Owens' official timeline,
Yeah.
includes a steakhouse stop
hmm
that has not actually been confirmed at all.
Well, yeah, it hasn't even been discussed by the prosecution, so it's not like you're debunking that it happened.
Well, there's no evidence for it. There's no good evidence for it at all. There's no camera there. And the steakhouse receipt itself has never been confirmed to be Tyler Robinson's.
I'm assuming this is just like a talking point they gave you, and you got to like keep pushing this, or like
I've been
'cause
following it very closely on X.
the receipt. You weren't even following the Robinson, but you really
You
wanted
think
to know.
that
I've been following it
do you
very
think that
closely on
because-
X.
Wait, you think
I'm calling owners of
do you know
steakhouses
that-
and having a
wait,
conversation. You're following Congo
Yeah,
on
I
X.
literally followed the entire trial or the preliminary live. I was live with an attorney. We covered all of it. You think because I have a momentary or lapse where I'm like, oh, it's murder? No, it's aggravated murder. Come on.
You didn't know any of the
That's
charges.
splitting
You
hairs.
didn't. No, that's not splitting. It means you didn't follow the preliminary hearing at all.
No, it doesn't
Like
mean
you
that
don't
at
know
all.
any of
That's
the charges that are
ridiculous.
against him. When this is like getting literally to the crux,
Oh,
aggravated
man,
murder versus murder.
It's
a death
ridiculous.
sentence.
And not only that, let's point this out. One of the major things here is that this is your official timeline.
It's mine.
Yes. Who else could it be? Who else? There would be Candace
What's your
Owens'
issue?
I just don't know what
What's
his
your issue with
issue is with my timeline.
What's your issue with that?
Well, so the issue is that the entirety of the evidence revolves around two people who claim that he was there
Mhm.
and supposedly a receipt. There's supposedly a receipt where Tyler Robinson paid for his steak and his soft drink. No alcohol, right? No alcohol, right? You know nothing about the case. But anyway, this particular receipt, they could have called the merchant account, confirmed it, this type of thing. To date, this receipt has only the blurred information on it that would actually give you the information to confirm whose receipt it is. We have to date, nobody has confirmed that this was actually Tyler Robbins' receipt. And yet inside of Candace Owens' timeline, which she states over and over again, when she says, this is the longest 13 hours, 13 and a half hours, the requirement for about what? 5.5 or 6 hours of that is that he went to the steakhouse.
Mm.
And that's not been confirmed at all. Not even a little bit.
I feel like saying that I spoke to the owner of the steakhouse is me, like, not just being on X looking at opinions, but actually doing the legwork. And that's why like I said, if you think this builds up a rapport with your audience and makes you seem like a serious person, we don't have to keep belaboring the point here. I feel like I've demonstrated that I did as much as I could to confirm this when it came in. I spoke to the owner of the restaurant, obviously took down everything he said, noted that there was, in fact, a receipt that he pulled. That receipt that was published is real. A debit card and a credit card was used. if for some reason somebody misidentified something down the line, or we find out it's a different Tyler Robinson, I'm happy to remove it from my timeline. But for right now, I think that there's enough under the Utah 1102 rule for me to keep it there. I don't really think we need to keep going into circles about this receipt. It's my timeline.
I don't know why the 1102 rule would apply here for your
because
timeline.
You will constantly cite things that are said in that courtroom that have less evidentiary support than me contacting and speaking with the owner of the restaurant. It's not like I dreamed it, as to use your expression. So it's in my timeline, and I'm going to keep it there if that's
sure.
Cool.
You can keep whatever
Great.
you want there.
Okay.
I'm just saying that there's no evidence he was ever there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
No hard evidence anyway. Yeah, I'm fine with closing.
Okay, so the last thing we're going to do before we go into ad break, right after this will be final thoughts. I'll be asking both of you if anything on your opinion, thoughts changed on the case, and then we'll finish it up from there. So with that being said, a 3.5-minute break, and then we'll come back for final thoughts.
All right.
All right, you guys, if someone followed you
Sounds
everywhere
good.
that you went,
So, yeah, the receipt thing, again, another opinion and another thing that is being investigated on. I mean, what do you know? You can't magically like make things happen right away. Things have to be investigated, and she just gave her opinion, saying that even to a steakhouse in the timeline of the assassination, or before the assassination, or after. I don't think it was after. It was before. So he's saying that, where's the receipt? Was it his debit card? Blah blah blah. All this stuff. Okay, it's sounding real like reaching and doing overly, trying to compensate for him losing the debate, because I believe he lost the debate clearly. It wasn't even it was like a landslide. 3-0, let's go. But what else interesting happened? My TikTok just got suspended. My live access just got suspended. Luckily, I am streaming on other platforms, so whatever. I don't really care. But why is my TikTok being suspended? I didn't say anything of it saying that I was using hate speech and bullying and stuff like that, when I'm just reviewing a podcast that's already at 4 or 5 million views on TikTok, on YouTube, and on other platforms, and I can't review it because saying I used hate speech. Okay, I appealed it. The appeal didn't go through. So, just weird stuff. I mean, weird stuff has been happening ever since I started on my political journey with mixing music and politics and all that craziness. Why do I get banned on stuff? Who knows? Who knows? Do I care? I did care. I don't care anymore because I just pivot and move on to something new. I don't stay with one thing. So you could ban me, but you can't really ban me. I got a song. You can't ban me. You can't, because you're not. So you can ban me on here. I'm still going to talk about what I talk about, but you banning me and you doing the things that you're doing just clarifies it and crystallizes it even more to me that what I'm doing is the Lord's work. It's the Lord's work. What I'm doing is the Lord's work. So keep on trying to ban me. I mean, y'all been trying for years. I just keep coming back because, I don't care. I don't care about Facebook. I don't care about Twitter. I don't care about Instagram. I don't have any accounts on those because y'all banned me, and I'm not going to keep on making pages like I care and I'm trying. Nah, I don't care. Y'all want to ban me off of there? Good. I got a website called www.genosjustice.com, and I got Twitch, and I got Kick, and I got YouTube. Why would I care about Twitter, Instagram? Why would I care about those? I don't care. So you can suck my dick because I don't really care. All right? I'm going to keep on doing what I do. Keep on trying to ban me. Keep on trying to do what you do. It's not going to work. Okay? I'm going to keep on being the trailblazer for free speech, and I'm going to keep doing it, man. All right? Y'all hate me so much for just expressing my thoughts and opinions. Well, turn off the channel. move on to something else. I don't know. Y'all so active on sending violations and sending threats and all this stuff. If I don't like someone's opinion, I keep it moving. I swipe. I don't got time to be sending, things to get them banned and stuff. I don't got time for that. So it's priorities, man. If you got time to sit there and be, oh my God, I want to get him banned. I want to get him to get kicked off and shadow banned, and I'm gonna send this. You're doing too much. You got too much time on your hands, and you should be worrying about other shit. And probably your house is a mess. But we're gonna get back into the end of this because we're almost done here.
Maybe a good commentary for you would be the following on if you're a Andrew fan and you are still saying, you know what, Andrew's arguments were solid, great. Candace, great. But did anything change your mind? Did you watch and say, you know what, I had this position over here. This would be an interesting commentary to hear. And of course, for all the people that are watching, I was just whispering to them here before we wrap it up. I think whether you're a fan of Andrew or not, whether you're a fan of Candace or not, nobody can dispute the fact that these guys agreed to sit down and talk live. Others were thinking this was
I'll give it to them for that.
This is not pre-recorded.
I'll give it to Andrew for that. I'll give it to Candace for that.
Live. This is a little bit scarier than pre-recorded because pre-recorded can do edits. So whether you agree with them or not, let's make sure we respect both of them for having this sit down. And before the final thoughts, I want to make sure you guys hear that from me as well, for inviting me here as well.
Of course.
I do know one day, I think it was last week, you sent a message on one of our accounts. You said, can I talk to Patrick? We got on the call. You said, Patrick, can you moderate this? And then I said, great, let's do this. And so before we wrap up, final thoughts, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, she had nothing. Just nothing. For all of her claims of patsy, nothing. She didn't have a single claim. She didn't have a single solid piece of evidence. She had no positive evidence Israel's involved in anything. No positive evidence that France is involved in anything. No positive evidence TPUSA is involved in anything. No positive evidence that Erica Kirk is involved in anything. When I asked her about her claims about Erica Kirk, yeah, it's just funning. It's just funning, Or, yeah, I do think that she needs to sit down and ask some questions, or answer some questions. But you know what? I don't even know if she has. Maybe she has. I have no idea. Yes, I'm going to have an official timeline with unconfirmed evidence. That's just fine. Hey, it's hearsay. If that's good enough for the state, it's good enough for me. But my biggest problem with the state is that they're admitting all this hearsay. It's like she's a contradiction machine. On top of all of this, the thing that I wanted to get out of this more than anything else was to just demonstrate one thing. Yes, it's true. I'm not perfect on the case. I'm not going to ever pretend that I am.
We know that.
And never did. But what has been made very clear to me is that there's nobody with an alternative theory that has any evidence for it at all. None.
Isn't that weird to you, though?
And
it's not weird to you?
Kind of expression. We're running an investigation. What kind of investigation builds a timeline out on a receipt that they don't even confirm? What kind of investigation tries to make these bold claims that Israel's involved and France is involved and all these different players are involved and never shows any evidence? We're just asking questions. It's again, like I said, my opening, it's always intuition, my feelings, how I feel about things, how I think about things. Andrew, how many times did you hear this today? Andrew, you can't tell me how I'm supposed to think. Yeah, nobody's trying to tell you how to think. But you should rationally come to your conclusions based on evidence and facts. And the truth is that 90% of what you're saying is simply intuition based. It came to me in a dream. It's intuition. Almost none of it has any evidence at all. Just, I'm skeptical because these people over here said things, and that makes me skeptical. It's like, but no evidence. Note this to the audience, to everybody watching. You might hate my guts. That's fair enough. I get that. I'm not the most likable man. I understand that too. But there was nothing. I mean, no evidence at all that Tyler Robinson was a patsy that was ever put forward by Candace this entire debate.
First of all, you have an earpiece, bro. Why do you have an earpiece?
To whether or not Robinson did it, she says, I found the evidence convincing. or unconvincing.
And why is nobody else talking about the earpiece?
Okay, fair enough. Maybe you can't do too much about that, but there was nothing.
PBD, why are you not talking about his earpiece that's like right in front of you? I know you see
nothing for any of her
the chair covering it or something. Or the
zilch.
podcast
and she backed away on
it?
a bunch of them. This is the first time I think she's ever really backed away from the Twigs thing. First time I've heard her back away from the Erica thing, back away from TPUSA, being very cautious about making any of those claims now. Whereas on her show, much more likely to be making those claims. So she just had nothing the entire debate. Zero.
Negative.
Candace.
Well, I think that is quite a conclusion. Admitting somewhere maybe we stalemated, it probably signifies what I've been saying from the beginning, that you didn't feel
she has
that
an earpiece
you were
too
strong
now. I wonder
on
why.
the actual facts and the evidence, which I was willing to engage
why
with you.
does
I
why are
wanted to go
both of
over
them
the
have
screwdriver. I
earpieces?
wanted to go over
That's
the
what I
top of
want
things
to
that
know.
you've mentioned, and you wanted to then move the
Including her.
conversation into a defense of Erica Kirk and her character, and what I've said about Erica, which is my opinion. And I have not edited that opinion after discussing with you. I would like to extend a compliment to you for being willing to sit down and to have the conversation. I still walk away feeling that the people who are jumping on the bandwagon about this case don't care about this case. They don't care about Erica Kirk. It tends to be follow that they take a meeting with Turning Point USA and they come out and suddenly have a lot of junk to say about Candace Owens. And I do want to also stress that Turning Point USA tried to pepper him with something as a surprise. He showed clips that were meant to be a surprise. I did no such thing. I stressed to PBD from the beginning that I was grateful he was taking this on and that I wanted this to be a clean debate because I believe I can win this on the merits. And I believe that I did win this fully on the merits by engaging the evidence of what has happened. I do still believe that there is more evidence which supports that there are more people involved and that Tyler Robinson has been set up. And that none of the evidence that was presented was in any way overwhelming, which is why I think you wanted to move to end that discussion quickly and to speak to me about France and to talk about this Panguitch receipt and my timeline. I want to remind people that a lot of the at-home investigators, which you were open to, as you called them, internet sleuths, I think it was on a show that you did right after Charlie was assassinated, that internet sleuths would solve this. This is the reason why Charlie, a year on, is still a conversation every single day trending on Twitter. I knew Charlie. I cared about Charlie. I care about finding out what the truth is here. My heart is in the right place. I think anybody who watches my show or even just watched this debate knows that if I get something wrong, I'll instantly correct it and own it. I'm not arrogant. I don't need to sit here and pretend that I didn't misspeak on the Lance thing. It hasn't been ruled out. But you saw that he just really wanted to hammer that point. You know, part of being a well-meaning person is to concede when you are wrong, to take something off a timeline when you know it's not right. And I would like to think that that is why I have earned the audience that continues to follow me, because they know my heart's in the right place, that I deeply cared about Charlie and I deeply care about the answers. I want to thank Andrew's team who are providing the fact checks. It's a very small room that they're in. I want to, as always, thank my team who worked really hard to make this happen and flip the set. And to you, PBD, just for being a great moderator, I think very fair, letting us both speak and making sure that Andrew got out of this what he wanted, which is a little more than what I wanted. But I'm very content with how I dealt with this. And I trust, I don't need to convince the audiences with the magic trick of what they need to think about this debate. They can watch it and draw their own conclusions.
Beautiful. Fair from both of you. I think the audience won. And again, from the beginning, all of this is because of how much love and respect we have for Charlie Kirk, a great man that's no longer here with us. His 1-year anniversary is coming up here. I can't believe it's that quick that is here. The audience, I think you also won if you did. Support the Crucible, support the Candace Show, support the PBD Podcast, subscribe to the channel. This is how you help these voices get out even more, especially going into future when this happens. You want a lot of independent creators to have these types of discussions. And last but not least, the two of you, I
what's
respect
up, man?
you
What's
guys
going
again
on?
for having this
Morgan,
conversation.
what's up?
It is not easy to do so. Hopefully, this will lead to more discussions. A lot of different things we talked about. I'm sure there will be a lot of follow-up. With that being said, take care, everybody. God bless. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
God bless. God bless. So, man, that was a crazy thing that just happened, and I'm glad I got to see the interview in its entirety
The amazing Erica Kirk,
because
a woman who was born on both November 20th and November 22nd because she's just that amazing. Erica, who at the age of only 5 years old was coached at the YMCA by Charles Barkley, who at the time was at the peak of his NBA career but still managed to find time to coach her.
I started playing basketball when I was 5. My first coach, he was Charles Barkley, of all people, which is amazing to have as your 5-year-old YMCA coach.
Sure, Jan. Erica Kirk, or as I like to call her, the little teapot, because she just loves to pour into people.
I poured into him, pour into each other this weekend. Just being able to pour into each other.
Yeah, whoa. We didn't even get to that. But there's so much to get into. So I'm gonna end it with this, man. Because we don't got all day here. And I know everybody has things to do. Morgan, I'm about to end this stream, so I'll see you soon, man, because I'm going to be back on here playing some of these games. But I want to make a conclusion that debate was much needed. I wish it happened a little bit sooner, but, almost a year to Charlie Kirk's assassination, we got it. So, we got it. So, Candace cooked him. Andrew had a couple of points that were prominent, and I'm not gonna say he's stupid. He seems like somewhat intelligent. He's just, I don't know, man. Something about him that's off. Not gonna say I hate him. Just a couple of things he made me laugh at, but Candace ultimately cooked the interview, and she won, and she got her point across. He didn't really get his point across to me. Like I said, to me, he didn't get it. I know there's other people that think differently, and I was debating with other people online. We don't need to get all mad about it, though. We don't need to get all this and that and this and that and be pointing fingers and say we could have a debate and we could talk about it. I'm willing to have debates. I'm willing to talk about it. What I would say is don't disrespect me or my family, and the debate won't go farther than that. You understand? That's my if anybody wants to have a debate, I'm down for it. And just don't disrespect me or don't disrespect my family. And we could talk. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all watching this. I wanted to watch this debate, in its entirety. I seen clips here and there, and my synopsis of it is Candace cooked them. That's all I could say. There was points that were being made. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be talked about still. It's just a lot of stuff that needs to be dissected, and if we got to keep on having more debates and about this, then we have to. But this needs to be fully dissected and fully, and it doesn't have to just be Candace. It could be other people. But we got to stop banning people with opinions. We have to stop, or shadow banning or cutting people off. We have to have, everybody should have a platform. Everybody should have a platform to state their opinion. That's just my opinion. But whatever, it is what it is. I hope y'all have a good day, man. It's Gino's Justice. The Gateway Experience just dropped. You could get it on www.genosjustice.com. I already got 3 videos done. I got another video coming soon, and I'm going to create the whole album's going to be a whole video. So hopefully that happens very soon, and appreciate everybody that picked it up. So salute to everybody, man. Have a great day. Peace. Be safe.